Now I will certain people I will because like there's some artists they just have really good talent, they don't have the fucking money, and then in that case it's like we need to just get you in the fucking studio and just start working. Let's just start working. You know what I'm saying? I've got to be at I've got ASCAP. I know how to register everything. I'm not trying to fuck you over, and I don't want to steal your money. I want you to put the good shit out, and I want to register it in the 6 to 9 places that you can register to collect all the money. And I want you to listen and do what the fuck I tell you to do.
Yeah,
You know, don't fuck
yeah.
no retards. Like, and I don't mean like people that retarded, but I mean like people that's like not mentally. Their elevator doesn't go to the top.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean people that have any type of mental or physical or health challenges. I'm not talking about those people
Yeah.
because
No,
those are good people. We just don't talk about
those
those
are good
people. But I'm
people.
people that act like they have special needs and they don't have the special needs.
That's another
Those
story. So that's
those.
actually we gonna start there. So let's go ahead and get this going. I'm gonna press record
But
here.
I don't want to get in trouble with the like special ed because my kid. I
So
shouldn't say that on camera. Don't let me say that on camera because people might get mad. And then I have to re-explain and then be like, "Shit, it's so special ed people." I'm like, "No, I like them. I just think the people that, anyways, we don't
people
want
that
to
be
go
acting.
there.
So like that's so
They
that's
be acting. People do be acting. I have to find another word because I like to say that sometimes, but I have to be careful because if I say that in the wrong company, people are gonna get really mad at me.
facts. And we try
But
what we try and do is like we just have conversations like that's why it's shooting the shits because all we're doing is having a conversation that we would naturally
yeah,
have, and
I'm good.
and
I'm good with
that's
that.
where we're at. Like it's
I
it's
got
super easy. You got so let's go ahead and hit the intro here. Bam bam. All right. So we are shooting the shits again, live and correct, coming to you from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the spaces and places. We got Heather Banks here. I mean, I've only had a limited exposure to her, and in the limited time I've got to know her, just impressive. Like a go getter. Got more things going than I do, which is impressive and crazy. That means you're a crazy person, but it's the good kind of crazy. Um, so you said you're from Shreveport, right?
So I currently live in Shreveport. Now, originally I was born and raised in Buffalo, New York. So shouts out Buffalo. But we also definitely shout out to Shreveport because I love Shreveport and I'm over here in Ball City. So we call that the SBC, which is Shreveport and Bossier City,
Oh,
Twin
where?
Cities. So that's
See,
where I'm at.
I ain't spent no time over there. What? How'd you land there?
Well, okay, so I landed here. I moved to New Orleans. Came down here for a girls trip. So I had a friend of mine I met in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yes.
And yes, so her name was Ashley, and Ashley was originally from Baton Rouge. So she was out in Asheville, and she decided to move back to Baton Rouge to be closer to her mom. So me and my friend Alicia, we decided to come down there, and we're like, oh, we're gonna have girls trip. We were both living in Asheville. Well, I think I was in Charlotte, but she was still in Asheville. So we're like, let's go have girls trip. Take us around New Orleans. We would love to see New Orleans. We've never been there. Let's see it. So we plan a girls trip. We rent a car. Me and Alicia drive down there. We were getting on our way down there. We get a phone call. I got the flu. Oh no, you can't show us around. So we get down there and we're having a great time. We're staying like in this hostel. So it's an old hotel off Canal. They've got it's like hostel style. You have like the two double beds. Down you walk down your hall dorm style with your flip flops, and they have like the shared bath and the shared showers
Okay.
down there. Then downstairs they have like a regular hotel lobby, but then there's like a commons area where you can go sit in, um, like like the couch area and watch TV or whatever. And they have like a little commons area where you could sit like a dining table, kind of like a round table you could eat or whatnot there.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we were. And so I go out. It's New Year's Eve. My friend, she's like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna turn in early and I'm gonna hang out." I'm like, "We're in New Orleans. You're gonna go." It's New Year's Eve. You're going back to the room. I'm like, "Oh, let's get a few drinks. Like, have some fun or something. I don't know. Do something. Something's got to be open. The clubs or something."
They
So
definitely
I'm
are.
out there. So she goes back to the hotel. I'm in New Orleans. I've never been out there. I'm by myself. And I'm drinking, mind you, by myself. That's smart. But anyways, I'm a lady, so I know how to handle myself. I'm from New York. I don't, play. I bite back. You know,
You supposed
Tyson
to.
style. Yeah, if you mess with me, I'll get you Tyson style. No, I'm just kidding. But I will get you. Shut up to Tyson. But no, anyway, so this guy comes up to me and he was like, "Hey," he's like, "I've been in this blasted town for over 20 some years, all like large Marge style from like Pee Wee Herman, except for he was a guy." So so he comes in and I was like, and so he's like, whatever you do, don't drink the water. Don't drink the water. And I was like, well, why not? He's like, I've been here for 20 years. I drank the water and I've never been able to leave this blessed place. I was like, well, it's too late for that. I already had some water. So I don't believe that anyway, so it doesn't affect me. That's what I said. Is if I don't believe it, it doesn't exist. But what had actually happened was I obviously had some drinks, and I'm a lady, so I asked the lady for some water at the bartender, and this is back going from '03 to '04.
Okay.
Bottled water was not a thing then. Bottled water had just started. It hadn't actually officially hit yet.
Yeah.
So when she told me it was like $6 for a bottle of water, I was like, I can get another drink for that, and I definitely don't need another drink. So I'm not paying $6 for that. I was like, can you just give me some water in a cup? She's like, tap water. I was like, I guess. I was like, because back then, I hate to tell you, but everybody, it's disgusting as it sounds, everybody drank tap water.
Facts.
Like if
Facts.
you drank bottled water, you were bougie, and people were like,
Yeah.
kind of stick their nose. The way that people would look at you now, if you told them that you were drinking tap water, people would look at you back then at the
Yes.
bottled water. That
Yes.
is crazy to
And
say,
no,
but
now knowing
that's
what
how.
was in the water,
Mm-hmm.
it was packed without anybody looking. Like it was fluoride. Let's go full blast for these folks. Like it was yeah, the water. I wouldn't suggest drinking public water, but they found that most of the bottled water now is still has it's just literally they're just tapping it's out of a tap and they're not even filtering it in some cases. It's like come what?
Oh, I don't want to say on camera, but there's only one brand of water. Like if you bring that to me, I won't drink it.
I got an idea of it because my wife
I'll
is the
tell you,
same way.
there's a D in there somewhere,
Yeah.
and I won't say anything else. If it's what you think, that there's a reason for that. Because like back okay, so back around the '03, '04, or '05, they had like since they were one of the first waters out there, they had like a contamination with bacteria and stuff like
Hmm.
that. They were the
I
first
remember
ones
that.
to get called.
I remember that.
And it has a certain smell and a certain taste. Now I've never, if you've ever used the bathroom, you probably know what toilet water smells like. I don't know what that would taste like, but it's like the smell taste thing. You feel like you can almost taste something because the smell is so strong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it almost has like a, okay, so that's what I'm talking about. And that's the kind of flavor that you open the bottle and you go to smell it, to taste it, and it's like, it smells toilet water-ish, and I'm not drinking that.
I'm not drinking that. There's
Nope.
also, we got, we had because Florida is it's a big bottling area where they bottle a bunch of
Mhm.
water here, and what I found is like that a lot of the rights that they're taking like to do all these bottled waters like they're really not doing much they're just doing it so they can claim the rights and they're just tapping right into city water and not using the resource because they're like we'll save that that's I mean that's it should be illegal but it's not there's a lot of things that
That's why
shouldn't be.
I only buy spring water unless I'm really on a budget and I don't really have the extra money for the spring water. Because it happens to all the best of us. I mean, but I do spring water, and then you can check where the spring water's from. So and the spring water is actually the only true alkaline water. So if you buy the alkaline water, you don't, the one that says alkaline you don't want because that's dead water, and they split it with electrolysis, which kills it. Because
Oh,
basically electrolysis means that you electrocuted the water, which you actually killed it.
yeah, the same way that that what was he? He was a 8 year old or whatever was doing the experiment with the microwaved water and the plants. It was like a local science fair in school.
Hmm.
He gave one water with he let it cool down to room temperature, just the same temperature that the stuff straight out of the tap was, and the other one was one that was heated up in the microwave and then cooled back down. And that one, the plant looked all like just emaciated and it definitely didn't make it very far. And it's like, okay, so we've been doing that to all of our food. We've been doing that to, I mean, we want things now. We want it quick. Now, I mean, if you go to fast food, they'll microwave it. I'm not going to say who, but we had a sit down restaurant. It's not one of the upper ones, but we went to a sit down restaurant and we got a microwave steak. I'm not eating that. I'm not eating that. It was
Oh
like a
wow!
damn
Well, let me
hot
tell you,
dog.
at the restaurant, so what they do have cheese. I used to work at the restaurants. Red Lobster, they microwave the crab legs
They what?
because it's quick. They microwave the crab legs. It's very quick to cook the crab legs if you microwave them in there in a steam bag.
Why? Why would
And
you?
they also microwave like you know how they have like the veg medley with the little butter, and they put them in these little these little plastic sacks.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pre-measured and pre-weighed. So when the order comes and they want that, they have this, and they can then put that in like the little glass tray or whatever they're going to put it in the microwave. Boop, boop. They dump it out into the tray. Boop, boop, pop it in, and then. But see, I didn't find out about what was actually in there until 2015. This A friend of mine had told me about that, and then I later looked, and if you take, so this is crazy, but if you take the plate out of the microwave and you look at, you know how they have the little blades that the plate sits on,
Yeah.
look up what the symbol is, and it's actually the radiation symbol, because
Oh
they have to
yeah.
put it in plain sight.
Yeah, plain sight, like yeah, flat where nobody's paying attention. Like that's kind of, you know.
And that it's also, I want to say that's also on the garbage disposal too. Like if you look at the flaps, it's like the radiation. There's no radiation in there, but it's like the danger, like
Oh,
the
okay.
three.
I was like, what? Was it
It's,
irradiating my shit?
okay, the three in one for the two, and then the one up the top,
Yeah,
the
I
one at
can
the
see
top and
that.
the two at the bottom. That symbol. But if you look at some of the shapes, and you take that out there, you look underneath and you'll see that shape.
That's so to me. Like, do you think it's something that because there was a comedian, there's been a couple of them that said it, but like,
It's on purpose. It's definitely on purpose. Well, they explain what happens to their with your food. You have the food in here, and so they would rearrange it, and then okay, your steak looks like this afterwards, or may look like this.
yeah,
And originally, this was steak, and you think, oh, it's just going to heat up and do this, or maybe do this, but no, it does this, or what? It scrambles around, and it just scrambles around. And so everything is not. It looks the same on the outside, but on the inside, it's all messed up. So it'd be like if you took your best friend or whatever, and you just made them like scrambled eggs on the inside and meshed it all around.
yeah.
And it looks like my best friend on the outside, but their brains are scrambled now. They're just not the same person. Their brain doesn't even work right
All
anymore.
right, I'm gonna get deep with you. I'm gonna get deep with you then. There's a social experiment, and it's to see it's discussing the self, and it says so if we went as far as being able to teleport, right? Like we can teleport
Mm-hmm.
now. If you can go from here to New York, from there to Beijing in an instant, but it can copy you perfectly. But what happens is it destroys all of the atoms on this side to recalculate them on the other side. Is that still you on the other side? You would know any
No,
difference.
no, it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. It's not the same because you're putting it back together. Okay, so let me put it like this. Have you ever taken like wood shop? I didn't take the one with the where you do the engines,
Yeah.
but I took wood shop. Okay, but just imagine. Okay, you made the birdhouse or whatever, but or well, you can't really undo that. But okay, people that do the shop class, and you're under the hood of a car, the engine's already put together, and take it apart. Do you think you can put it back together? Because just imagine, like, okay, something in your household broke, and you take it apart to try to then fix it and put it back together. And how crappy does that thing look after you put it back together?
What do I
How
need a
it doesn't
screwdriver?
matter what it is, but something that was together that you took apart and then tried to put back together, unless it
Mm-hmm.
was like an actual set that was made to do such, when you take it apart, it looks like crap. Even with the phones, like, you know what I'm saying? When you like take the phone all put together, if you do it so many times, it starts tearing up the backs and all that stuff. So now they glued the stupid battery in there, which is worse because now you can't get away from the updates.
You can't. I mean, there's no get away from it. I tried to push mine for so long, and at one point it said, "You don't have service until you do this update." Period. It's like, all right, I guess I got to do it because I need my phone. But like, I hate the updates, and Apple just got sued for that same thing. They got sued for the same thing for purposely degrading people's
We all knew
phones
that.
through it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we knew that. We all knew that because because grandma and grandpa that had their phone for ages, which they're only using it to call the grandkids and stuff. They don't need all the doodads. They don't need all the stuff because they don't know how to use that. And when you come up with the new stuff, they get confused and they start calling the police at 2 o'clock in the morning because they think they're calling their nephew or their grandchild or their sister. You know how I know? Because my grandma did that. She's calling the fire department or she's calling her sister at 2, 3 more. We had to take the phone because she's thinking the house is on fire and she's just having a bad dream.
so that's that.
You know, it's stuff like that. It happens. Like, you know what I mean? But it's sad to say, but like that happens, to people.
Your mind
So
slips. It's a guarantee. Your mind is going to slip. Especially, again, we're on this conversation of health and so on. Like, that's really where they they live to be. Like I don't know how old was your grandmother?
my grandmother was 88.
That's same. My grandmother was 80, 87 or 88. I don't know, but she was at 87 or 88, and the last probably year or so, she was in and out of senility or whatever. But she, in her world, amazing. Like I would actually love to be like where she was at. 'Cause she's like, all right, she would go out, she'd sit out on the she was in assisted living, and she'd go out and sit on the patio next to the like exit. She knew where the exit's at, but she's sitting there waiting, and it's like, hey, who you waiting for? And she's like, well, my scout, my Girl Scout leader, troop leader is gonna be here any minute. I'm just waiting to go. Like we're gonna go to camp. This is gonna be so much fun, and she'll just talk to you like she was like 7 years old. It was amazing because she didn't have any like of the diverse adverse reaction where like or inverse reaction rather of having like I know that my wife's grandmother it was not funny and funny at the same time. She thought she had a relationship with the order not the orderly but the nurse that was taking care of her.
Hmm.
She swore she's like I had his baby. I can't tell anybody, but I had his baby, and like she lived a whole life. But then
Oh,
she's
that's hilarious. But
you
I've seen that. I've seen that, but usually they don't have a husband. Usually it's just their baby is the baby doll, and you have to, they're taking care of the baby. I've also seen it where they used to be CNAs or nurses and worked in the nursing home, and now they're permanently retired at the nursing homes that they used to work at, and they're a resident.
I don't
I've
I
seen that. I've seen people, and they think that they're at work, and you have to help them, let them help you, or give certain tasks, or like bring this certain things. But then sometimes you have some people that try to leave. You have some people that get aggressive. It depends on what happened in their life, because you have some people you go to try to change them, and like they need their diaper area changed because it's
yeah
needs to be changed, and they're like, and they're trying to get you like, hey, it's me. You're like, so and so and else, and I'm like, oh, it's they get that look. You know that they want to like, they think you're somebody else and they want to fight, and it's like you're not doing that. So you're like, okay, you got to try to make sure that they don't clock you upside the head or anything while you try to get things fixed, and try to talk to them so that they think that they're somewhere else, or get them to where they're engaged in the conversation with you for that. It's definitely interesting.
it's very interesting because like I mean the mind is a crazy it is a crazy thing. Like I really I would say that um, that's my biggest fear is definitely to end up not knowing reality. Like because I have a mild schizophrenia, and so
Hmm.
it's not to where I'm paranoid schizophrenic. It's just every so often I had heard a voice. I haven't heard it in over a year, so I'm good. Um, but and it because it's a progressive disease like a disorder, and it gets typically gets progressively worse. And the scariest thing I can think of is to not know reality and not be in a fun land like my grandma, or like she's having an affair with the orderly. Like that is much more preferred to my ex's grandmother, and it was like every kid that walked in was a demon, and like she for real, like they were all demons, and so it was just hell like all the time, and her great grandkids can't see her or anything because she
Oh
freaks
man, that
out.
sucks.
So like that was my
That's
biggest
tough.
fear is to end up in that place. I was big on hallucinogens back in the day, and that's what I also feel like the DMT and it having an effect because like when you do pass, you
Hmm.
get DMT's rush to the brain, and it's just some people have a great experience on DMT itself, and then some people have a bad trip or whatever, and so like I feel like in the end that part right there is very like it depends on like you said it perfectly is that it's dependent on your life experience, right?
Your shadow. Well, so for you, I don't want to give you a reading while we're live on the camera, but we can talk later. So you have some shadow work to do, sir, and you know that very well. And so that's really what that is. So when you do the shadow work, you won't have those issues. Now, if you're worried about love, so let me give you some good advice. So if you're worried about like your brain not being there, or like you going to a nursing home kind of thing, this is what I would recommend to you. When I was 3 years old, I had like I don't know, I guess a vision or whatever, that I was going to take care of my grandmother. We were in the car driving, and she smoked cigarettes at the time. And I said, Grandma, I said, I'm going to take care of you when you get older. I'm going to take care of you. You're going to come live with me. And she's like, oh yeah. And I said, yeah. I said, yeah, but only if you quit smoking those cigarettes. I said, because if you keep smoking those cigarettes, you're going to get sick, and then you won't be here with me, and I won't be able to take care of you. And she's like, well, you'll have to promise me that you're going to be a good girl, and then I'll stop smoking the cigarettes. So that's what happened. I was like, I'll behave. I behaved, and she's quit smoking. And then she actually came to live with me in 2015. And I took care of her for almost a full 10 years. It would be 10 years this October. full 10 years.
That's so okay. So I have some, I have quite a bit of experience with that. Like I don't know, the 30s are the age of loss where you first start experiencing like the older generations leaving, and then it becomes more prevalent as you get older, of course. But like it dealing with people in that sense, it's hard for an extended period of time. Like somebody that dies quickly, like in a tragedy or an accident or something, they die quickly. It's different. Like it's you have to deal with that loss, but the elongated process, it can be beautiful, or it could. Some people end up resenting the that loved one. Like they end up resenting them because of how
Mhm.
much time it took, and like it's and that's the times where you see abuse and things of that nature. And like I don't know, my uncle was supposed to only he had 2 months. They gave him 2 months, and then he ended up living two and a
Two
half
years.
years. And it was like,
See, 2 years.
yeah,
Then I said you said too much. I said it's gonna be 2 years.
yep. And
He's
it's
gonna tell them what? He's gonna tell them what? Get out the way. I'm not ready.
but that's not even close. He was the biggest, strongest man I ever knew. Like he was just like 6'4" and like 350. So he's a big guy. Like and so he was just and to see him like just at first, he dealt with it with because they gave him Ativan. They'll pretty much give you whatever you want. If you want painkillers, they'll give you that.
You
Is
need
that
to
what?
watch out for that. That medication is not very the best medication. And what I will tell you is a bad medication. Maybe doctors wouldn't say that, but this is what I know. When I worked in the nursing homes, when they get on hospice and they're on their way out, they give them a cocktail, and the cocktail is morphine with Ativan, and it kills them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it kills them. So, if you know anybody that's taking that for whatever reason, prescribed or unprescribed, I don't recommend that necessarily.
Got the jams going. What's the is let me see. What time is it there? Same time zone, right? Central.
Yes, it's 10:24. I never know. It's so great that you guys are central time because no one's ever central. So what I usually have to do is I usually have to do central, eastern and central. And then if I know anybody that's also going to be West Coast, I'll give the West Coast time. Mountain. I hate to say mountains almost completely forgotten. We don't really forget you, but putting that out there is probably like a nuisance to most people unless I know that we've got mountain time people out there. So I'm
Yes.
so sorry for you guys, mountain time. But the Pacific time, also, like I said, a lot of people we're dealing with is like Eastern or Central time. But like I said, if we know someone's out, West Coast, we'll definitely, put that out there for you guys. Those are like the top three out here.
I
But it's
mean,
tough.
with me, I definitely do. I mean, I have friends in Australia, so it's literally in Perth, it's 13 hours difference, and then in the capital, it's it's 15 hours. So doing the math, I have dyscalculia, so math dyslexia. So doing the calculation, I'm like, carry the 12, 57 o'clock. Is that right? No, wait.
That's funny, I've had some artists like I worked with in Nigeria before, and I think theirs is like a seven ish. They said 6 hours, but it's more like seven ish
Where at?
hours. I like Nigeria.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the halfway point.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
I've dealt with some artists out in Nigeria. Big ups to Ice Nino. Yeah. He's like I noticed that they have a. I like working with international artists because they're all Americans are typically very American centric when it comes to music. We're only really listening to American artists. We don't. Do you listen to many I don't know Brazilian artists?
Well, so be honest with you, I probably haven't listened to as many. I mean, but I am global now. I do like global music. So the
Rare.
kind of music I do hip hop and R&B, but I do love like the Latin music, the reggaeton. I love the reggae music, and I'm talking everything in between reggae, dance hall,
Yes.
like everything in that
Dub.
genre.
Dub.
Um, I like the Afro beats.
Yes, everybody's
My,
digging them. Where I didn't know, I was ignorant for way long. Like I think I got into Afrobeat like 2 years ago, and I was like, y'all,
you were
everybody,
late. You were definitely late, but
way.
so oh my god, I'm trying to think what year was it that I learned Yoruba. I want to say it was like 2018 or 2019. No, it wasn't 2019. 2021. I learned Yoruba. I think we started learning Yoruba because they have this Soke TV. So in Nigeria they have Igbo
Yeah.
and then they have the Yoruba, and so like that's kind of the Yoruba is predominant, and then Igbo.
Okay.
And so we my son liked the Afro beats, and we're watching different things on there. So that's when we found the SHxTin TV. So they've got the alphabet, they've got the days of the week, they've got the colors, they've got do as I do, do as I do, do as I do, chez mon chéché, I say do as I do.
Is it
You know what I'm saying? So
predominant French, right? Like Creole, right?
it has like it has like a French sounding to it. That when they say "chez mon cherche,"
Mm-hmm.
but it's not actually French though. They do so French is their second language they learn over there.
Okay.
So it's like they have the Yoruba, they're gonna have French, and then everybody learns English.
Again,
It
the
doesn't matter if it's Africa, if it's Asia, if it's India. Everyone's learning English because the dollar was prominent, and you kind of had to do that.
had
So,
to.
but they you had to, and they speak many languages. Like a lot of times, they're speaking their native language, which if in Nigeria would be Yoruba, unless they were Igbo. And then you get the English, the French, and then possibly Spanish as well. So
Is
they
there a
learn.
Spanish?
I'm saying, yeah, they learn a lot of languages. And over here, you don't see that as much. I speak a lot of languages. I'm
Yeah.
fluent in Spanish. I speak some French. And then I understand like German. I understand like Italian and some Portuguese. You know what I mean? Because it's similar,
Is that one?
right? So Italian and Spanish and Portuguese are all very similar.
Yeah.
The Portuguese is closer to Italian
Right.
than the Spanish.
I can see that. This just the spellings I'm thinking of, like the CION, like
So it's like if I said yo soy americana, so I'm American. If I say yo sono americano,
makes
that could be Italian or Portuguese. It doesn't really matter. I mean I don't want to say it doesn't really matter, but you could use either one
right
because it's
interchangeably.
yeah.
And that's the beauty about language. Like I speak some German, and then I speak sign language. I mean, I've taken plenty of classes. I should practice more. And then I realized how have you ever learned sign language or anything?
Yeah, so actually, so we used to do the heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. You know what I'm
See,
saying? So
you got the performance in already.
something like that. I mean, come on, that was like fourth grade, Michael Jackson,
It was
fourth
hard.
grade.
Is that fourth grade?
Fourth grade.
Let me see.
We had to do that and what a wonderful what a wonderful world. Like I see skies of greens,
Yeah.
what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
See, we ain't learned nothing. Like we learned the Pledge of Allegiance, and like uh, we
You
learned it
know?
pretty much to say that she taught. So she was like teaching deaf culture, and that was part of a big part of her curriculum. And she's going, all right. So just so you know, I know a lot of you are gonna want to get jobs in the field, and you're gonna want to like translate. If you don't come from a household that is either like what do they call it? There's a name of it, like a Coda household, or like you're
A
not.
caption, a closed caption.
Yeah, if you don't, man, I always have that on. I uh,
Yeah, but it's special because they have it because they you know what I'm saying that they have it to be able to read. They have all kinds of things now. They have it where like you could be blind but still have the communication and like read the braille and then still like type and stuff like that.
yeah,
Because there's a lady when I again when I worked at the nursing home, this lady um had an issue where she knew she was fully there mentally, but her body was giving out from her.
and what
So
age?
she would have to she had like I don't want to say she had like a thinking machine, but she had like a talking slash thinking machine. It would like type for her.
Her.
It was I've never seen anything like that before, but I was like that was amazing. I was like they should have that for people that they just because they can't speak to you doesn't mean that they don't know what they want and what
They're
they
still in
need, and
there.
then they're trapped in there, and then they can't. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm cold, and they can't get anything that they want. That's terrible.
That's I mean,
That's
so the
that's
old,
a terrible thing.
especially the old way of communicating, because like my uncle, that's what ended up happening. Like he just degraded so quickly to where he couldn't. It just went from his feet all the way up to where he couldn't move anything, and we had to like put droppers, for his eyes, like to keep his eyes lubricated, and
Oh wow.
like it just complete paralysis. And so,
You need people that love you for that. You need people that know who you are and what you like and what you want. Because with my grandmother, like when she was declining, she got after she had a stroke last year, and that's really why she was ended up declining. Because at 87, she wasn't on any medications at all.
beautiful.
We were eating non-GMO and organic. We would do like moderate intermittent fasting. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we wouldn't eat breakfast, so we would eat lunch and dinner.
Yes.
Or sometimes she would eat the breakfast, but she didn't want lunch, so then I would just let her eat dinner. So, and it was her choice. She had to eat 2 meals a day.
Good to go. I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could do breakfast and dinner, breakfast and lunch, whatever it was. But sometimes when they're older, they don't want to eat as much.
yeah.
And I'm not forcing it on her, but that really helped out though. Like I said, with I mean, like the healthy eating and stuff like that. But knowing her and what she wanted, so when she couldn't talk to me, I knew what she wanted. She would give me a look. You know, she'd be like,
Yep.
you know, and you know what that means. We know what that means. Like, you know what she likes. She likes oatmeal, this and that. And just the way that they like when they're eating stuff and their facial expressions, just something little stuff means a lot. Like, you know, if you know someone's always cold natured and they do this, they might not be able to do anything. They're kind of cold, but they're doing this. You can see that they're cold. You can see kind of their what they're thirsty or the way that they look in their eyes. You need somebody that really cares about you that would be there for you, so you can stay at home and you don't go to no awful place. Because what happens is if people, if they're not able to care for, if they don't want to, then that's why you see people in the nursing home. Because really, your family is supposed to be the one that's supposed to be taking care of them. And then if you can't, like I said in my case at the very end, 8 out like 24 hours a day, I have to sleep for 8 hours. And if you need care during that time, I can't do that while I'm sleeping.
Yep.
So that's, you know, and she wasn't even in there like 2 weeks, and then she was gone.
And do you think that that was because she was in like she went into, or because like because I don't want to, I don't care, like I don't care what's happening, like I don't care
Well,
about
she had. Let me say this. So the nighttime nurse, before she passed, an incident happened where I got a phone call a couple of days, like about a week or so into it. She first got to the nursing home. She got discharged. She had to have surgery for her wound on the back, and she had to get discharged to. She finally got accepted to a facility.
she had
So
to have
she was in there a
surgery.
couple of days. She had to have surgery on her back because she had when she got home sent home with the wound on her back. She had to have surgery.
That's
So like they call it debriding and stuff like that. But it gets the infectious materials and stuff out of there. She had to get that out of there, and of course she had to. She needed like wound like that round the clock wound care and stuff like that. So she had to do the facility. The first nurse that we had was great. She was from the island somewhere. I got a phone call one night. She says, "Hey, your grandmother's got critical lab. She's got to go to the hospital." I was like, "Well, what do you mean critical lab?" She said, "Critical lab, critical lab. It's emergency. She have to go." I said, "Okay, I understand that." I said, "Well, what is it?" She said, "Well," she says, "her hemoglobin, her hematocrit, her potassium." I says, "Okay, that I understand. She's going to need a blood transfusion. She needs potassium in her IV fluid, and she's going to get some antibiotics." Okay, I understand that. I said, "Well, when you figure out where she's going, call me back." So she did. Well, when this happened with my grandmother, I get a call Saturday morning. I just woken up and I was thinking about going to see my grandma, go visit with her. And I'm trying to get up in the morning. I hadn't even had coffee or anything. I think I only just brushed my teeth and just got up. And my son's leg was hurting. So I get a phone call from the ER doctor that my grandmother's heart had stopped. And no one called me from the facility. And nobody called me from the facility. So I had to put her clothes on, rush up there. I'm crying. And no, no, no. I said, she's a full code, do everything. In the meantime, I have to get up there. So I get up there and it was bad. They put me in the special waiting room. And if
Yep.
people don't know what the special waiting room, then that means that your person is actively coding and they're not actually with us at that point in time. So they can't bring you back there till they have a heartbeat. So you get put in the special waiting room. So I called and I called the lady up and I says, "Hey, my grandmother's in the hospital." "Oh, yeah, yeah. I was just getting ready to call you." I was like, "Ma'am, you're just getting ready to call me." Let's just say that my language was not the best because I was definitely not using the best language. And I was like, "Hey, something ever happens with my grandmother," I said, "you call and you tell me what's happening immediately. And then whenever you figure out where she's going, then you tell me." I was like, "I don't care wherever she's going." I said, "I care what's happening to her. And then I care where she's going."
Yep.
Place like I was on the phone for 40 minutes trying to figure out. I was like, "There's only one hospital across the bridge. There's only one hospital that's like less than 10 minutes away. There's only one hospital that you can go to get her there as quick as possible when she has no heartbeat. Are you from this area? How long have you been here?"
Are you a nurse? Do you know where the nearest hospital is? That seems
Well,
like
the
a
thing is,
reasonable thing.
where she's located at It's like behind Dunkin' Donuts, and you come out and you go across the bridge, and the hospital is like 5 to 7 minutes away, like less than 10 minutes across the bridge.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, sometimes they take them to different hospitals. But even so, you should just call me and said, "Hey, something's wrong with her. There's no heart." I found out when I got to the hospital after speaking with the doctor, after they revived her, that she had been with no heartbeat for over 40 minutes while they were doing CPR. They brought her back long enough for me to say goodbye to her and all my family
Really?
on the phone, and then for me to go get my kids, and then for us to spend her final moments with her with my family.
That's beautiful that they was able to bring her back. That's 40
Well,
minutes.
that
That's
that that was, but like they had to. She coded like 10 times, 5 times downstairs and 5 upstairs. So that was not the beautiful part. That was not so
no,
good.
that's not. But the fact that you get to, I know that you had an
We
extended period with her already.
luckily they were able to get her in there, but like I said, like I got a phone call. I was supposed to get a call from the facility. So like I said, the nighttime nurse did a great job, and the daytime nurse, pissed off to say the least. That like I don't know what else to say that in a nicer way to say that, because what I'd like to say is not for TV. You know what
Well,
I'm saying? Like on that note, like I'm not happy. Like I'm not happy at all with that.
that's. I mean, there's lots of things to talk
There's
about
no
that.
way. Like how you didn't call me. Like I got a call from the hospital. Hey, are you next of kin? Am I next of kin?
Do you not? Do y'all not?
I about to lost my mind. It's not even been,
Yeah.
you
That's what I'm
know.
saying. It's. And when did this occur? When was the?
It'll be in 11 days. It'll be 1 month.
That's fresh, and that's really fresh, and especially and I my heart goes out to you because like those losses are big, and so like to, it's beautiful that you had the time with her because that's the one thing I can say
Mm-hmm.
like you know with my uncle, with my grandpa, with a couple different people, my aunt, um, it was I just one after the other too. And it was just like, all right, so I guess we're going from here to here. We stayed with my uncle for like 2.5 years, in and out. Me and my mom switching spots, and then just it was like, all right, grandpa's time. All right, now time for to go to the aunt. And it's like, damn man. But getting that time with them, each one of them was like, all right, that made it for them even. Like they said, I wouldn't have got to say goodbye if it had gone earlier. So like it made me appreciate that time. And would you prefer? And it's gonna get dark. I'm sorry, but like, would you prefer to know when like okay, it's you got 2 years, 2 months, whatever it is, or to just be gone?
Yeah, no. If I knew, then you can make it last longer. Like I had an inkling that her health was declining, and I told family, I was like, hey, she may not make it through the summertime because her health is declining, and I'm trying to do this, but her insurance company is saying a lot of things aren't medically necessary, so we're not getting the help that we need, and the providers are providing everything that they're allowed to provide with what they have. And we're trying to do everything we can, but if they only have so many things that they can work with, they can only do what they have to work with, or what's getting paid for, and that's the reality of it. And then even to the point where you have to imagine having to come down to the point where you have to figure out, um, do I go spend time with my grandma or do I go with my sickle cell son? Because they were both in the hospital that last month. They were both in the hospital at the same time, back and forth at two different hospitals. Because the hospital that my son was at, we came in on a B team, and she ended up leaving with a hole on her bottom.
And that's the one that she
I
had to have the
mean,
surgery for, right?
she ended up having to have surgery because she had infection back there, and we were trying to maintain the infection. But truth be told, I think she probably had some before she went home. But like, if you can't keep them, then they discharge them. And then we tried to maintain that for like 30 days. And then, I'm saying, I did like all I could do. I mean, that's all you can really do. You do everything you can do, you know?
Is it not only do you do everything that you can do, but like if you have people that love you, like that's the thing that I talk to my kids. I got 3 kids, and 22, 17, and 11, and
Hmm.
going through them. My son, amazing. The oldest, like he's amazing. He's always been a great kid. He kind of psyched me out because my daughter was the most like me, so she was a troublemaker. Um,
So,
but then
surprise!
yeah, surprise.
Just like
Damn,
you too.
this guy. No, no,
Damn,
no, no.
how did that
He
happen?
was he was
I
easy. No, no, we're not doing that. So she just she's gonna hit her head a bunch of times, and then she'll realize it hurts, and it's like okay, I had to hit my head a bunch of times. So it's just like, and I gotta let them do it because they're gonna do it. She's gonna do whatever she's gonna do. She's a gangster. Um, but then my 11-year-old. So I went through the kids and I was like, all right, so who's taking care of me when I get old? One of you are gonna have to do it. And my son's like, I'll do it. I was like, nope, you're gonna forget me. You'll be like, I haven't checked on Dad in like a week. I should probably do that. It's like he would leave me and he's like, yeah, that's actually that seems right. It's like, man. And then the one that's like me, she's like, I'm not gonna be anywhere near here. I'm gonna be. She said she's gonna be in like I think she said New York or something. I was like, okay, I hear you. And then my youngest, she goes, I'll take care of you. For real? She's like, yeah, but I gotta live here the whole time. You can't kick me out when I get 18. I'm like, that sounds like a deal.
That's fair. No, that's more than fair.
That's what I was like, you know what? I like that deal, but she only said that because she goes, my wife was trying to teach her how to cook, and she's like, I don't even know how to cook. She's like, yes, you do. You're gonna have to learn how to cook. And she goes, I'm gonna always have you. I'm gonna live here. She's like, she's planning it. She's like, yeah, she's not going anywhere. I'm like, okay, we're not allowed to move because she loves this house, and I'm like, dude, there's so many. We live in the country, like we're in the other part of Florida. We're in the central time zone, Florida, which is like,
Mm.
it's super country. Like there's nothing out here, but I like it that way. I
Like
don't.
Ocala country?
Yeah, only it's north. It's like by Pensacola, just in that big swath of nothingness.
Yeah, but Pensacola's got beach though.
Oh, we got the best
It's,
beaches in the entire country.
Pensacola does have those country police, sir. We've ridden through there, so I know about the country part. Like, is this the right part of town, ma'am? That we know about. Is this the right part of town, ma'am? Where are you traveling to? Like,
Uh,
we know what that is in Pensacola. But let me tell you, they do have the beach though.
they
But you got
do.
to watch out. Like that's like once you get past Pensacola, then it's a little more friendly.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, I don't even hang out in Pensacola. We really Destin Fort Walton is gravy. Panama City Beach is awesome. But like, we got the best beaches. We're blessed. I noticed that as it goes out, like going west, it's like Alabama's got it's okay. It's decent beach. Then you got Mississippi. I would never go in the water in Mississippi. And then you get to like Louisiana. I just don't trust it because I'm from Florida. And I'm scared of y'all's gators because y'all got too much
So
salt
let me
water here.
say, they have way. If you go way down south, they actually have like probably I think it's south of New Orleans, but they have beaches down there. They have a beach in there. I've never been to that. I've never been out on the water in Louisiana. I'm so sorry to say that I have not been out on the water, but I would love to be on the water. I've been on the boardwalks in New Orleans, in Shreveport, Bossier, and all of that. But as far as like being on the boat or being like on the platoon, like through the I haven't been through any of that. I'd like to do that.
I thought about the same thing. Yeah. So when I come through, that's where we're going. Because that's literally I got to do that. I haven't done a swamp boat.
It is
Uh,
like it's cool, but it's creepy looking. Like I know where all the water access points are because I've been there. But like, and it's crazy. On one end, it's like Richie Rich, and on the other end, it's so ragged and run down, and it's like the brokest and the poorest of the poor. And it's like, why is it so poor down there? Like, why? What you haven't fixed it up over there for the folks?
right.
Like, you haven't fixed it up for the people. What's going on? Like,
Opportunity. I always wonder in the like so when I go up north like to Alabama and through Alabama like I wonder what the hell these people do. There's not a city, a town for 50, 60, 80 miles. And it's like what the hell do y'all do for work? I got to figure that out. Like whatever y'all are doing, that seems to work because you're working from home. Like you're not driving
they
80 miles.
probably well, some people do like the like they farm and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a
Some
lot
people
of farm out there, that's
farm
for
and
sure.
stuff.
Did
I
you
mean, then you have some people they're just like self-sufficient homesteaders where they can provide enough for themselves. They're not actually selling to other people per se, but they're homesteaders, preppers, or whatever, and they're doing their thing. I mean,
there's I
and
mean
that's been bigger more than ever. Because I mean, I like the prepping stuff when people thought that people were weirdos and stuff. But I started the prepping when I lived in New Orleans. Well, not I want to say New Orleans, but Baton Rouge, because after Katrina came through, that's when I became like started prepping. And you could tell me people I was crazy or not, but we were prepping for hurricane season.
yep.
And nobody thinks you're crazy for that though. But if you like tell people, hey, I'm prepping, I'm trying to get some extra food, they're like, what is that? But then if
Right.
you're like, oh, I'm prepping for hurricane season, it's like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You better have that gas and the batteries because if those lights come out, you need to have extra food and water and everything.
You better
So
have the
when it's
Bacardi,
like
you
in the
better have
summertime, it's like the ants putting up the food for the winter, but it's actually like the food for hurricane season
yeah.
because you need to have like a backup plan.
You got. I mean, we sit there. So I'm a big conspiracy theorist. I'm a big conspiracy guy, and like, the weather that's been happening of recent times, like, that's uncontrollable weather. Like both my sisters, like, so I got two sisters, two stepsisters.
So they have okay, if you want to be properly politically correct, there's geoengineering and weather modification,
Yes.
and it's on the governmental websites. You can you can go check out the names of the airplanes and the government patents that the government holds the for the weather modification programs.
Awesome.
And it's supposed to be actually it's supposed to actually be to help farmers. So in the dry arid conditions when they don't have water, then they're supposed to be use the rain enhancement program to use like aluminum, barium, strontium, and other different like metal particulates to enhance there through aerosols. And then it comes down and the dust is picked up with the cloud particulate matter, and then you have increases your rain. So if you want to be,
Oh,
you
what?
know,
Say the last
correct,
line.
if you want to be politically correct.
But you said you have a what? What was the last thing that you said?
I didn't. I might forget the last part that I said.
No, I was saying
Um,
you said that you have the last part, like after you get past the particulates and they're in, they've.
oh, there's metals in there. So they use heavy metals in there. Those are metal particulates.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, it's like aluminum, barium, strontium. Aluminum is what causes Alzheimer's, and
And
it's why the bees
autism.
get killed. Well, there's that. Now the other ones, the aluminum, the barium, and the strontium are technically radioactive isotopes. If you know anything about that, and I do actually have a biology degree from Southern University in Shreveport. Thank you so kindly.
See.
So I actually do know
Shout out.
about that, right? And I had a really awesome teacher in Buffalo named Miss Van Voorhees, and she taught us about she was our earth science teacher. She taught us about weather and weather patterns. I know how to read. I don't know if you guys got that training, but did you guys have to learn how to read, um, like be like the weather guy and read all that and know the highs and low
um,
pressures? Did you have to do that?
like vaguely, it was never like in earth science you do in college, but
Yeah,
not in
yeah,
high
yeah. So
school.
we did that in high school, freshman year.
We did not. If they did,
We did.
I was not paying attention.
So I watched Texas Storm Chasers. I watched Ryan Hall, y'all. There's a couple guys, Max Velocity. We watch them. Those are our weather guys that we watch. And then they do actually have storm chasers from the area. Now the Texas storm chasers, I wish sometimes you guys would come and also show like the western Louisiana, northwest Louisiana because we're so close. But sometimes they don't, they kind of leave us out a little bit because they are Texas storm chasers. But we need some Louisiana storm chasers out there. I don't know where our people are at.
Oh, they're around. They're
You know,
definitely around.
we
There's
need that. I've now let me tell you something. I've looked and the three that I named you are the ones that we watch because those are the only ones we can actually get coverage with.
oh word, really?
Like if we're looking so that they're actually doing the storm chasing, it's either Max Velocity, Ryan Hallyaw, or the Texas Storm Chasers. They actually have live storm chasers on the ground,
That's actually
and
that's
they'll
pretty
be in
cool.
the area. They'll do like Texas. They'll do like I've seen them do Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, depending on how bad it is. Mostly the Texas Storm Chasers are in Texas, but Ryan Hallyaw, they definitely we've definitely seen those guys out here too.
Well,
Um,
we see a
some of
lot of. I live outside of Eglin Air Force Base, and it's
hmm
the largest Air Force base in the country, and it's got a lot of stuff out there. Just a lot of stuff.
I'm by
Um,
Barksdale,
oh, word. So okay, so you
like
might
10 miles
see.
from Barksdale.
Yeah, so you get to see some fun stuff.
hmm
Ariana Masters is another one to look up if you're looking at weather and weather modification. And she watches the towers, and she just pretty much just tells what she sees and goes. She did it every night on her. I think she has a podcast every night. But she's. I mean, that's what I like to look at is the all the data. I just like looking at the data and
You
finding
need to
out.
send me that because they have so I can send you my people
Yeah.
that then I say my people like I know them, but people that my people that I watch. Okay, they have certain ones that will watch the earthquakes and watch the different the GFS models and stuff like that. And my favorite weather guy, he's passed away. I want to say it's been I don't know if it's been a year or if it's been 2 years, but this it was a guy. His name is Mike Morales.
Okay. Was it? Where's he out
He's
of?
on
Is he?
YouTube. You could look him up and you could go watch his own stuff. But he used to do the 14-day forecast, and I mean his stuff was like spot on. So you could say, "Hey, this is what's going to happen then. This is what's going to happen here, there, this, that," and he was like spot on.
That's. I mean,
And he always used the GFS model. The GFS is the one to use.
yeah. Okay. See, I haven't. I actually don't know. I'm not up on game on that, so we're gonna have to talk about that one. But
They have like this. There's like a certain college. Was it College Dupont or it's like a French name, Dupont or something like that. But there's a you go to this college site and it'll show you everything on there, and then there's different layering that you can choose.
well, we're gonna need. I mean, we're gonna need a lot of people really researching the weather and actually getting our own independent information because with the budget cuts that are happening right now, they said that next year they won't have the main NOAA sites will not be funded. Like NOAA is going to
Mm,
be
there's
way
a
out.
reason for that.
Oh, I know.
They don't. They don't want you to see what's in the oceans because there might be something missing out there that we didn't see on the maps. Maybe I'll say that we might not catch everything on the maps, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. Yeah. I mean, just it's numbers.
Well, they have new things that are popping up, and then they have other things that are disintegrating, and those are factual. I mean, the government and press puts that out there. So they do have some like new land masses that they say are starting to grow, and they do have some other things that are kind of getting erosion and washing down. So we could put on that spin, whatever spin you'd like to put on that.
Well, I
You
mean,
know.
the spin I'll put on it is that there were a lot of people that were actually investing in purchasing oceanic properties. Like Ghislaine Maxwell, she was one that was doing that. She was purchasing a
Mm.
known raising like land mass that was raising, and they were like, we're 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 gonna have our own community in our own country. So it's like, oh shit, okay.
Have
So
you ever seen Superman?
which one?
Um, the one where Lois Lane has like the dog, and she's ends up being on the ship, and they throw the kryptonite in there, and then the kryptonite grows into a new landmass.
Yep, yep.
That one. Just saying. Not saying we have kryptonite or anything,
No, there's all
or
types.
vibranium or anything like that. Why would we have anything silly like that? But
There's all types of stuff. You got what is it? Alan Greer. I can never remember, but it's Greer, and he talks about the elements, like the elemental chart and what's been
there
added.
actually are new elements that they haven't updated the. You're not wrong. So they have found new isotopal elements through science experiments in the science community. If you're up on that, which sometimes I'm a little geekified, and sometimes I'm not so much anymore. But sometimes I see that in the newspapers. I read magazines and I read things. So you do see that they have some of that going on. You do see that.
And that's where are you excited about the future? Like, because I know you have a lot going on, and like, there's a bright future out there, but there's also a lot of we've had some past events here recently that are, it's like it's flooring because there's a lot of shit going on, and there's chaos across the world. So, do you have a positive outlook on the next 10 years, 20 years?
It will. I would say I do, but there's also going to be negative Nancy things that's going to happen. There's also going to be a lot of major things happening. It's a new cycle. Things are happening anew. Some people want things to stay the old way, and some people will stay with the old ways, and then other people will create new ways, as it always happens. I think it's a new revolution time. I know they're wanting to lean heavily into the AI, but there's also a heavily leaning into the nature. So I think
Yes.
that most people will either go heavy into AI due to necessity because it's what's being used, or they will go heavy into the nature. And then it may be like hard to go on either end. I recommend the homestead. I like the homesteading option. I'd like to do that. I haven't been able to do that in my area yet, but that's what I wanted to do when I bought my house was
Yep.
like do the homesteading kind of thing. And I like nature, like sun plants and stuff like that. Of course, they're fracking right next to my house. When the week I went to buy my house, they're fracking there, so I don't plant in the ground.
Yeah.
I wanted to have all fruit trees in my backyard. I may still do that anyways. I don't know how far it goes deep, but
Raised gardens, man. That's I mean,
mm, yeah, it requires more help. It does require more help. I still have the raised beds over somewhere over there that needs putting together, and then you have to fill them and those kind of things. So I
it's
haven't
a
really
thing. Farming
do
is a
that yet.
thing. Like that self sufficiency
I
is.
know how to do that. I do know how to do that. I prefer it to go in the ground, but like I said, out here in Louisiana, they do a lot of fracking.
You know,
So that can help people resourcefully wise for money some ways, but in other ways it's not so good because it's your water table, it's your water, it's your nutrition. It's like
don't mess with those things. Don't mess with those things.
I don't particularly like it, but I do know people get in a position where they do what they need to do. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I get any hustle is a hustle because out of
yeah,
you gotta do what you gotta do. But the other
I
part to
don't
it,
prefer that.
you should no. That's what I'm saying. Like you should probably think about the long term. And I know that there's a lot of people even if you don't. Okay, so say I didn't have kids. Am I still gonna look out for the next one? I don't give a shit. It's not my none of my seed is going forward. That type of that type of mentality, I think it persists throughout, and I think it's like the what is that called? There's a name for it where it's like it's like the I don't want to say the have-nots, but it's essentially where it's fear of missing out on it's gone.
When it comes to that stuff, I hate to say I just don't care. I just don't care. I want to help people. So they're like, oh, it's hard, it's difficult. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy, it's going to be hard. Everything's hard. Everything costs. Who cares? Who cares? If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. You're not going to tell me. If it's just like bad and it's toxic and it's going to hurt people or something like that, then I'd be like, no. But someone's like, oh, it's this and that. I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, people got this attitude. Again, cares are not given. Where's the cares?
Not
I
one.
care about, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
I
It's
do.
like life is too short. And then when you see people like the person that you love, and you see you see things like that, you don't care about that. You're like, life is too short. I need to go have fun today. People are like, we got bills. You need to go have fun. Like, yeah, we need to have we can pay bills today. We need to have some kind of joy in life. Where's the enjoyment of the food, the smiles, the laugh? Where's the family time? Like,
That
that's what's important. People like whatever is taught in school, and I'm all for education. Is not. I want to say it's trash and it's not enough, but it is not enough. We're not taught the things that we're supposed to be taught at home by our parents need to be should be was also being reinforced at school, and those things are not
yeah, no.
reinforced at school.
Well,
Like, so
there's
we're not learning how to feed ourselves. Like, some people that go to school are not their hygiene's not good.
because
You know
they're
what
not.
I'm saying?
But do
Like,
you think they weren't taught that, or do you think that it's just a lack of
no,
parents or?
I think that everything's a rush is what I think. I think that it's not that they weren't taught to clean up or take a bath. I think that they're tired. People are always in a constant state of tired, so they're always trying to if you're always at work or always at school, it's the constant life drain.
Yeah.
And you're always constantly tired, so you never have energy to do just but the next thing. And so, like, you go to sleep. Either some people have trouble going to sleep, so then they can't, and they wake up and they can't. Then there are people go to sleep, but you know what I'm saying, it wasn't enough sleep. I think people are just tired of working too much, tired of schooling too much. I think it's just too much. There's too much work and too much school, and I think as much information is giving out, and not enough information is given out. I think not the right information is given out.
It's intentional.
You should know what food looks like. You should know what food comes from. You should know what food looks like when it comes out the ground, and how to clean the food, and how to clean the meat, and how to clean these things.
Yep. That's it.
And I mean, growing something easy like herbs at your house, you might not have any space or at all. You might have an apartment, but maybe you can grow. Basil's not a good one to grow because it's
Gu-
hard to grow. Trust
Gorilla.
me, I have a great thumb, and I had problems with basil.
Guerrilla
But like
farming.
rosemary, you can grow easy. You know what I'm saying? Stuff
But
like that.
that's okay. Tomatoes are tomatoes are easy. Get yourself some air,
Tomatoes,
some seeds. Cucumbers are really easy if you have dirt.
potatoes. I heard potatoes aren't easy. Potatoes are the one I want to grow the most because they're the most toxic thing that we eat.
So what do you
Do you
want
know why? Because they dumped the Roundup on it. You know what I mean? But so since we're gonna go that route with the Roundup and everything, so that's like, okay. I am writing a book called Eating for Sickle Cell. And we switched from non-GMO and organic from regular food, and I went through the whole process of, like, at first it was insanity. I'm like, oh my god, every single thing has got this stuff in it. Like, how do we figure out what to eat? I need to buy every single thing organic. Oh my god, all these things are so expensive. Everything's $3, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 for the organic. Oh my gosh, it's not $1, $2, or $3 anymore. It's like everything's whoop. That's a whole new thing. You're like, what do you buy? Do I buy the ketchup, the mayonnaise, the mustard? The like, what are you doing? Then I said, okay, I don't want to go crazy here. What it either needs to say non-GMO or organic. That's one way, but you still have to flip labels and see because they still sneak stuff in there anyways when they're not supposed to. What's the point of having the label when you're sneaking stuff in there?
That's the point. That's a,
You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't, there's all that, but anyways, eating for your health, it works for all diseases, but sickle cell is really important because they need 2 to 3 times the nutrition of a regular person, and they're probably not getting that.
can you go further on that?
I guess so. Say that again.
Can you go further on that? Like as far as the so they don't get the nutrients out of the food, or like you said they had to eat two to
Well,
three
yes.
times.
So, okay, with sickle cell disease, so let's bring it down to the basics. Sickle cell disease comes down to your blood cells. Your bone marrow makes blood, right?
Yep.
Everybody knows that.
Yep.
So the bone marrow makes the blood. When the blood is normally round and red, like a circle, and I always liken it to the Runts candies because a lot of us grew up eating those kind of candies. The Runts, they had the red ones that were round, kind of looking like a ball, and they would run smooth. If you had like a little like tube, they would run smooth through there. But remember the banana flavored candies? That's what a sickle cell looks like a banana shaped or a crescent
Okay.
moon. That's the shape of a sickle, a banana. So if you put the circle ones in there, they glide smooth. But if you put the banana ones in, they get all jammed up, right?
Okay.
That's what sickle cell is. So the number one thing with sickle cell is you're chronically oxygen deficient your whole entire life.
Okay.
Your whole entire life, you're oxygen deficient. You can never get the full oxygen you need because your cells cannot hold it because you have sickle cells. The same is
Interesting.
true with the trait. It's just not to that degree. You see what I'm saying? To a
Yeah.
certain degree, with that, you are going to be like have some oxygen deficiency when you have the trait, but it's a person by person case. And no, it's not the same. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, and of course, all diseases are like that, but it varies. You could have one person that's like people with sickle cell tend to be very sick, but then you may have some people that have a milder form of sickle cell, a different type, and it's different between families too.
Right.
So, but it
Genetics.
starts. Yes, it starts in your blood. So the things with sickle cell, you're lacking oxygen. Because you're lacking oxygen, you're immunocompromised. Because you don't have the
Yeah.
cells to carry blood and everything in there, and you have sickle cells. Those sickle cells are not fighting off like helping to transport the right nutrients, oxygen, and all those things because the sickle cells can't carry it. Only the regular cells can carry that.
So I got a
So
question
you're.
for you because this
Mhm.
is turning into nurse time. So as far as that's concerned, like you're talking about the genetic difference between those that the variance in the severity of the disease or the ailment.
Right. So there's different types of sickle cell disease. I've got sickle cell SS, sickle cell SE, sickle cell SE, sickle beta thalassemia, and that could be plus, minus, it'd be plus, zero, or minus. And I have to say that one carefully because it's kind of a tongue twister.
Of course.
And so there's that. Then they also have something else that's similar to sickle cell and the same family, but it's called thalassemia, and it's also similar to sickle cell in that it has different shaped cells. But the thalassemia more looks like a donut that's like had a bite taken out, like a bite.
Okay.
So instead of it being like a whole round,
Yeah.
like you have like like a bite taken out.
Huh.
And then instead of it being like the dark red, like when you have meat at the store and you see the red meat, and you see some meat, it's got the pale pink color.
Yeah.
That's thalassemia. So it'd be pale pink with the donut with the bite taken out. And the sickle cell will also be it's got blood too, but it's also going to be a little lighter, but it's going to have that sickle shape.
So what is the root cause of sickle cell? Like where's the
It's a genetic mutation in the hemoglobin. So the hemoglobin mutates and forms the different shaped cells, which makes it lack oxygen, which makes it immunocompromised,
so
and
how long I
mhm,
mean
it's
how far
also
back does that
hydration
go?
too. So like it's lifelong. It's a lifelong disease.
No, I mean like how far back has sickle cell been really like traced? I'm not familiar with that.
So now so sickle cell comes from the silk trade route, originated in Africa, originally from mosquitoes. It comes from mosquitoes like
Yeah.
dengue fever, like the chingas, the chica, the chimunga, or whatever, however you say that.
I'm not familiar.
There's another disease. It's like it's just like chick or chig, something like that. But there's another disease that's also with that.
So it's
Like they
different
have
var-
West Nile is also a disease. So sickle cell comes from malaria.
Okay. Okay. See
So
that's
sickle cell is a genetic mutation of the red blood cells in response to malaria. Any place like Africa or any place that's like a tropical or subtropical area can have those mosquitoes. So that would be like Africa. That would be all of the Mediterranean from like Greek, Italy, Sicily.
here all the way across the ocean.
So yeah, well, we definitely have it in the United States and Canada and like the UK and stuff like that because you have people that's moved around and all that kind of stuff. But um, what was I going to say? It's not besides in is on the silk trade route. So you've got Africa. I said the Mediterranean. Then you have like along Southwest India, Southwest China, like Southwest Asia. Any of those Asian islands or anything through all there, they can all have that. So like India can have it. Anywhere where you will have those malaria mosquitoes and it's a hot climate, That's where they come from. So in Asia they have it too.
So is the malaria okay? So I was always misunderstanding, I guess, because I always thought that malaria wasn't from the mosquito itself with the mosquito larvae and drinking it in the sitting water.
No,
So it is transmitted through the actual bite.
it can be they have anything with that mosquito, whether it's the bite. I don't know if it's in the larva. It may also be in the larva. That part I'm not sure of, but I know that it's in response to those mosquitoes carrying that. They carry the disease.
Well, I mean, I was talking to a friend that is in. Where is he at? He is in. Oh, it was Johnny, and
Nigeria.
no, it was
Oh, Johnny.
Johnny.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
they got so right there in Medellin. There is the largest mosquito breeding factory.
I know about that, and I know about Mr. Gates cloning them, and they're supposed to be using that to train them. I think that is absolutely ridiculous. They're a whole vector, so it's like vermin. But vermin serve a purpose because at least the rodents eat the other stuff,
Yeah.
and the mosquitoes they don't serve a purpose. They're
Oh
not
no,
they're not.
they're a food. They are a prey. Like that's the one thing. But not when you genetically modify them. Like that's the
But what I'm saying is those mosquitoes were released in Texas and in
Florida.
Florida.
Yeah. And I mean those same they release them right there at that same place because that's their testing zone. I'm like, yo, what? Have we not
Well, I
learned
know
anything?
I'm very familiar about all of that. I'm very fully aware about all of that.
Yeah, I mean that's a big factor to me as far as the as far as I believe in science and like you said like you can either adapt with science or you can go into the frontier and essentially live off the grid. But I think that it's going to be I'm more lean on the science side because I just feel like the Amish exist. I'm not Amish right now. Like they've got the best plan right now because they got a community, but uh,
They've always had the best plan because they were self sufficient. They didn't need anybody from the outside. That
yeah,
that was a no brainer. It's just like, but nobody wanted to be Amish because the clothes are not cute.
I'm saying
No, now their farming ways. Let me just say that their farming ways are smart.
yeah.
The bread ways and the no electricity. That's smart because if really if you didn't have to pay for all those things, then you'd save a load and you'd have more money to do things with. But we don't want to say that too loudly. But I'm just saying. I mean, grow a little food and save a little time. I'm not saying you have to grow everything. I mean, there's still the grocery store, but grow a little something in your backyard. Teach your kids where food comes from, and then that's a little something off your budget. I mean,
Yes.
anything off your budget's great. You know what I mean?
Like
So,
put it into terms of savings. It's a benefit. I met a guy at a festival just recently that was his job was to he was I know I'm gonna destroy this, but it's like he was a business strategist to improve your business through environmental improvements and
mhm.
sustainability improvements.
And
Uh,
that's amazing because you're not waste. First of all, waste is the number one thing in your overhead costs, which overhead is everything in business. And then if you look at overhead, you're looking at your percentage yield, which goes back to your overhead. Which, what are you putting out? What are you making? And how much are being charged? And then what's your percentage? Anything over 30 is automatic. No. And then people are getting sent home, extra breaks. Like this comes back from fast food. I learned this at 18 at Checkers.
what's that? What? The oh
Checkers restaurant, like the hot dogs,
yeah,
Checkers,
the
like the
fries, the
rallies,
fries.
rallies, the drive through, like checker, the fries, right? The Cajun fries. But yeah, I worked there when I was like, I don't know, 15 or 16, and then I worked back there when I was like 18, senior of high school.
Do you think it's fair to say? Because I told my son this when he first started working, which is like, all right, son, you have a choice. You can go retail or you can go food because they both lead different directions. Or you can go service, like whatever service you want to do. And he's like, I don't want to. I'm not doing service. Like he's not gonna go be in construction. He's not gonna like it's like that. And food, forget that. So he went retail for like first. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, that's more your speed, but pick your own path. And then he switched over to food. He fucking loves food. And I was like, but he's building up in food, and I'm like,
You know why?
why?
I'm gonna tell you why he chose that.
Why?
Business was all suit and boot, and if he didn't have to do as much sweaty labor and he could get paid to be like clean and less sweaty and dress up, that's the advantage of the collar.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Clean and pretty with the air conditioned thing, and you have your scheduled. bathroom breaks and your scheduled lunch, so you're guaranteed that. In the food, it's like you get your lunch, you get your break when it's not a rush and you don't have the line out the door.
Yeah, it is convenient because I mean the I don't know. Did you ever work retail or did you stick?
I worked everything.
Yeah, that's me too.
I worked everything. When I was 12, I started working with my mom and her catering company, Tamara's Fancy Delights. At what was like at 13 and 14, I started babysitting, and I did that. I did after school babysit. I did like the nighttime date night babysit, and I was doing good because I could watch like 3 to 5 kids by myself at a time, and they
Heck
were like
yeah.
madly impressed. They're like, wow. But then like I had a brother and sister, so they're like, oh, she's got a brother and sister. She's like, oh, she's good. She's like intelligent. She's responsible. No problems. I was like, yeah, I want to watch these kids and get paid. It's like I was good with them. I go play with them, make sure that I put it like in bed, like know how to put them in their bed, like the after school snack and some work, and I don't let them run over me or anything like that. Okay, we're gonna do this. And I didn't have any problems. Like matter of fact, like I think the youngest baby I ever got to watch was like I think the baby was like 6, maybe either 3 months or 6 weeks old, but it was like a young baby. But they were like I was a young married couple, and they lived in our apartment complex, and they called a bunch of times because they were really nervous, but they like they want that first like date night together. They just like just dinner, just a meal,
Dude,
just a meal,
but
and they're
you
checking. They're
have
like,
anxiety. Yeah, you have
right,
anxiety
right.
the
So they
entire
call me.
time.
They're like, "How's the baby?" They're like, "He's doing good, but I think he's kind of getting ready to lay down." She's like, "Okay, well, this is how he likes to lay down. You put him on the bed, put a pillow on the outside, and you pat his back. Shh, 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 woo, woo, woo." I did all that. Then she calls back. He's like, "Oh, he's asleep. He's great." She's like, "Oh my god, you're amazing. You did great." He's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you went to sleep." They're like, "Yes." They're like, "We're definitely recommending you to our friends." I was like, "Great job," and it was awesome because whenever I come over to the house, so like whatever I wanted in the fridge, I could have. Food or
Wow.
drink was my. I was like, yes. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
that
awesome.
makes me happy. Like they were nice, they paid well. I like watch the kid, then I can chill out, watch TV, and eat some food.
That's
And it's
that.
just me, so it's not like I'm not like paying your extra to eat that much, but you get a little plate. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
It's
yep, yep. So
but that's
definitely
what
good, definitely good times.
it's a good job. That's what my wife did for a while. Like I knew her when she was professional nannying. Like she was like she
Oh
took it
wow.
for a while. She was like this is actually she enjoyed it. She enjoys like helping kids. That's where she's in school with me right now. Like we're both on our bachelors right now doing she's doing psychology with child education and all that. I can't remember what the rest of hers is because hers is very specific. It's like, oh, mine's business and marketing. Because it's
That works for everything. But like I said, I did all of that. Like when you say okay restaurant wise, so I work up I told you about the mom, I told you about the babysitter. So my first like actual job, I was a bus girl at an Italian restaurant. Do you know anything about Italian restaurants and how heavy those plates are?
I don't know, but I guarantee you found out quick.
I'm talking about the thick. The plates are so thick that they're like the weight of like a baking dish. Like that's how heavy they're the weight of it. And just imagine I've got the whole, So that's probably why I've got strong arms now. But
Same.
I started with the bus girl. I used to get baby in the summertime. I had 2 jobs by the time I was 14. I had 2 jobs. In the daytime, I would go babysit with my dad's cousin. She had a medical condition where she had surgery and she couldn't lift. And she had 2 little kids, so I'd go help her in the daytime and run around with the kids. And she would like fix us lunch and snack. She just couldn't run around with them and do that, but she could do that. So we would do that, and then I would ride my bike to her house in the morning time. When I was done, I would ride my bike to the restaurant and work from like 4 to either 5 to 9 or from 4 to 9 because that's all we could work was 4 or 5 hours. And then from there, I
Oh,
go get me like something to eat and snack on the way home. Ride my bike home, like at a Dairy Queen or whatever it was, and ride my bike home with my Walkman, listening to my playlist, my mixtape that I made.
done. So
So
when did you start in music? When did that become a thing?
I came out the womb with music. It was coming through osmosis. So my grandmother was a jazz singer, and my grandfather, he was a carpenter, but he also did ballroom dancing.
Oh, nice. So you got
So
you're
they passed
born
that to
with
my
both of them.
mom, who passed that to me. My aunt does it, and my niece does it. She does like Dancing with the Stars type competition with the ballroom dancing. It's pretty impressive. My grandfather was doing that
Did your mom?
before Dancing with the Star was a thing. My
Mhm.
grandfather was doing Dancing with the Stars. So let's just say that. So whenever I make it big, please call me Dancing with the Stars. I'm ready.
Ah,
I've been, you know
oh
what I'm
you
saying?
oh so
I've
you
been
kept
saying
up with it. You
I've been
kept up with
ready.
it.
Oh yeah. Well, I do. I mean, like I do like I did tap, jazz, ballet. Then I did. Let's see. I've done some ballroom dancing, like some cha-cha, salsa, merengue. I did like some Lindy Hop or some swing dancing, kind of like a West Coast swing
Damn.
thing. I did. I'm trying to think what else did we do. I've done African, and I've also done hip hop dance. And it was funny. I did that like at Southern University in Shreveport, and then like the instructor, she had to keep telling the other students, she's like, stop following her. But I do, but I do tend to kind of take charge, and I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm like the quadruple threat,
Hey,
sing, dance,
quadruple.
act. Yeah, and I also do music and audio production. Well, I say quadruple because back in the day you had to like sing, dance, and act, but the quadruple because I also model. But then I do music and audio production. I do voiceovers. I'm surprised. I'm also a podcaster as well. So
That's seven. That's only
I
that's
have
and that
like
doesn't even scratch the surface. I already know.
right. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, I'm a writer. I do poetry, and I'm writing my. Like I told you, I'm writing my first book. So there's just a bunch
I,
of stuff.
I ran out of fingers.
It doesn't
I
end.
ran out of
Yeah, it doesn't.
fingers. And
Yeah.
that's the type of people that you want around you are people that are moving at the same speed and in the same direction. And that's why
hmm
like immediately as soon as your energy is just it's positive, it keeps people moving and you have a way about you're very articulate and you have the ability to articulate your thoughts very cohesively for everybody to understand and really get on pretty much everybody's level. I heard you talking to a group of people, and that's what was really just immediate. Like that's I like you. Use good people. That's immediate, and that's I don't want to say that it's rare because it's not rare, but it's rare to see somebody have that many skills and that many because like I didn't realize you were writing the book. I didn't know you were writing the book. Uh, I assume the poetry just because like when you write when you write music it seems. But do you produce as well?
Yes, yes, yes. So I'm a music and audio producer. I recently just graduated from Full Sail, and I think I have something for
Yeah.
that. I just
Da-da-da.
got this in the mail today. So I got my audio arts. I also did music production over there, and I chose to graduate with my audio arts certificate just because of my grandmother's declining health and my son's declining health. I actually could have bumped up, got the associates, but I just went on and cut that out, and I actually have my spot saved if I ever want to go back and get that bachelor's in the music production program. I think I have like 6 to 8 more months on that. So I did 2 different degrees at Full Sail. I did audio arts, and I also did music production. So.
Oh, sweet. So that's so audio. What's the Because I've taken that tour so many times because I'm from Orlando. So like
Mhm.
I took that tour like 5 times just so I could go stand in the studio
I've
with you.
never been. I want to go to the studio and get to see. And I actually do have access with John Parsons being alum. I do actually have access to that. I just haven't had a chance to go back there and see anything. The studios are amazing over there as far as like the music, the video, the audio. They have so many like studios over there, but everything is high tech now. And they're also getting into healthcare now as well. If
What?
you didn't know that, yeah, they do. They have like the state of the art dummies for like the healthcare and stuff like that.
Huh. That is new on me because like
hmm
when I was even looking at it like it's been I'll age myself but like it was just essentially audio and video production. That was the only thing you were doing there. Like
No, let me tell you now. Let me tell you, just not audio because they've had audio music production. So my story is when I was 19, there was 2 schools. There was one out in Arizona, and then there was Full Sail.
yeah.
And so I put into both of them because I said, I'm having a hard time. I'm a singer. I want to do that. I want to sing, but like I have music ideas in my head. I can hear the songs in my head, but I can't. I don't know how to get them out into the DAW. And I would watch people produce and do different DAWs and stuff like that. The first one I ever saw was Cakewalk, if that tells you anything. That's the first
That's
one I
a
ever watched.
pro.
Like in 99, I was watching like my friends that were drinking beers and smoking cigarettes, and they're on Cakewalk doing stuff,
Okay,
making beats.
you want to go super old school? I started on MTV Music Generator, DJ Scribble. Like
Oh,
it was the first one, and you could loop like it would let you do that, or you could program. Dude, I mean I wasn't
wow.
in the beginning. I had no musical family. There's nobody musical in my entire family. Like I had to claw for it, and even then, I'm not very good, but I still keep doing it. But like the I'll say that the DAWs then were capable of doing everything that they're capable of now. It's just, do you use because you have the knowledge to do so? Do you have any outboard gear, or do you do all in the box?
Okay, so originally, the funny thing is, originally the only thing I knew how to do was outboard gear. I only knew how to use the hardware. I didn't know how to use the software because I had Casio and I had Yamaha.
Yep. Same.
So Casio and Yamaha taught me how to do that. I was making mixtapes in fourth grade. And then my problem with the Casio and Yamaha is you'd hit that record button, but I couldn't figure out. You could hear all the different instruments and sample and play with that, but I couldn't figure out how you can only record a certain small amount,
Yep.
and then it would record that one thing. But if I wanted to do anything else, you wouldn't have any room to save it, just the one. So that was like my thing. So I just kept making the mixtapes and doing sing along. That's what I would do, sing along. Be like, pick a song you want to sing, and I would just sing along. Like it's a full on concert. And
Which
like
one
that,
you?
like at the family reunion, in the lunchroom, the back of the school bus,
So he was in it
like
like from the
wherever.
beginning.
Yeah.
He was already
Oh no,
he was already
I
writing
was.
songs and doing the damn thing by like I mean pre pre teenager, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, fourth grade. I got my first voice lessons at 7 or 8 from my grandmother. Whitney Houston was my first choice. I mean, I was a big Whitney and Michael fan.
Can't
I
be.
had the original Thriller album. I used to have the Michael Jackson doll, and I think in fifth grade my sister bit his head off, and then we couldn't get it back on. So that was, and it was the whole Thriller album, Michael Jackson doll. It was that Michael Jackson doll.
Oh
It was
shit.
the.
Oh
It was
shit.
the. I was devastated. I couldn't get his head back on. It was never the same.
I would have man. I
That
would
was.
have had to keep that one
It was
anyway.
just, but I mean, we were kids. I mean, but back then, Michael, he was my Michael. He was like, oh, he's my Michael. He's mine. That probably all the kids thought Michael was his Michael.
I mean, dude,
But
it was.
I fixed it all the way back to that.
Do you want to be? Do you think that there's a time that we're gonna have stars that have his his talent and success? Because like I know that there's people that are as big, but talent wise, I don't see that being the case.
I say yes, and I think this time it's going to be a female.
I could see that fully. Like I mean, who's? I mean, right now, like they would say like Katy Perry or something because it's the amount that she sold. But like as far as music ability, man, like Michael had it all day.
Hmm.
I have a friend that absolutely hates the statement, but uh, Freddie Mercury, like those as far as ability, that's that's my singing.
The only person that's breathing right now that's a male that I know. Well, I mean Usher does a good job too, but I would have to say Chris Brown does the best. Probably Chris is number one, and then Usher's number two. If I was to say who could sing the Michael and who could also dance the Michael, the only two that come into my mind are Chris Brown and Usher. I feel like Chris took the number one because I mean, I'm not saying that Usher's not good with the vocals or with the dancing, but the dancing with the way he pops it with the Michael, the
I'm
dancing
giving it.
is
I'm still giving it to.
ridiculous. It
I'm
is,
still
I
giving it
mean,
to
it's,
Usher.
I like again, like I said, nothing, no shade to either artist. They're both great. However, if I have to look at the singing and the dancing on the dancing, and Usher can dance now. Usher can definitely dance, but Chris hit that dance
Oh man, I know. My
ridiculous.
problem is like I was a I'm a
And he
big.
did and they did pick him to do the Michael Jackson tribute. So like that's enough said right there. They did pick him for the tribute.
That's fair. Like that's fair.
I don't know if they asked Usher or not, but they did pick him for the tribute, and he killed it. I mean, he killed it.
I think that I remember if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw Usher do a Michael set.
He does. He does. He does. I'm telling you, he does the Michael Sat, and he does an amazing job. Usher's Usher.
I just I was a big Rihanna fan, so I was like Chris Brown, my wife
I like
knows.
I like Rihanna as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why I'm just gonna go. I go
we
Princess
don't know what
Royal.
actually went. We don't know what actually went down. There
Hell
was a
no,
personal beef.
that's what I'm
Whatever
saying.
there was some personal beef. Whatever that was, it's not really my business.
No, hell no, it ain't my
I
business
say
either.
I keep my way out the stuff that's not. It's none of my business.
All right, I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Don't tell nobody. So, yeah, exactly. So, my wife and my kids think that I absolutely hate Hugh Jackman. I've had a ongoing joke for since 2010, maybe 2008. Uh, he did a movie called The Fountain, and so like after I saw that movie, I was like, and Wolverine was my favorite character back in the day, so they came out at the same time. And I was like, that fucking guy, he ruined my favorite fucking character, and he made me sit through 2.5 hours of bullshit. So like, so I just kept it going from there, and it's just been a constant joke. Like I hate Hugh Jackman, and I don't actually. He's it's like I took it super deep with him, and my daughter he was doing a meet and greet in New York, and like somehow it came across like her page, and she's like, "Dad, I'm just saying, you don't want to go to New York anytime soon." Like she was seriously concerned that I was gonna go take him out. I was like, "That's
That's funny.
good job." I love the long con and the long jokes. You said you have a big family. Like that's where I wanted to end at because it's kind of relevant to where we're going.
Okay. Well, for the sickle cell, yeah, because we
Yeah.
talked about a lot of different stuff. But so with my family, the real thing is the sickle cell. So I have 6 children, and 3 have sickle cell disease, 2 different types. 2 have the SS, which we call super strong. I have another son that has the sickle beta thalassemia. Like we talked about, that's a combination of sickle cell and thalassemia, which is a different type of sickle cell disease. And he has the plus kind, so his isn't as bad as some others. If you have the minus or the 0, that's very severe, and there's a lot of blood transfusions, and there's a lot of complications, and it's not very nice. He got lucky getting the beta plus, so he was lucky to get that.
Genetic lottery, yes. Like there's nothing that
Mm-hmm.
can
Yeah,
determine that factor.
right. Mm-hmm.
What about?
So
Don't they have a like because there's something I was just hearing about, which was the
the
reversal.
guy that got cured.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all cell cells. So anytime someone says, "Oh, there's a cure for sickle cell," or there was a young man in New York that just got cured with that, but it's all the same thing. It's all cell. I can't say it. I don't know why I can't say it, but it's the stem cell
Yeah.
transplant. It wasn't coming through right, but it's the stem cells. Okay, so and basically what that is you have to like wipe all your cells out with like chemo, and then reintroduce the new cells. So it's just like a bone marrow transplant. Now the way that they do it is different. Sometimes with it's a bone marrow transplant, you receive that from somebody else's bone marrow donor. You can receive that through a stem cell or from the cord blood, which can be a donor or it can be a sibling. Now, we did actually bank one of my son's cord blood. I have 2 kids with the trait. One has a sickle cell trait, and one has a thalassemia trait. The one with the thalassemia trait is biological brothers with the oldest 4, same mom, same dad. So we banked that cord blood. Now, my younger 2, have a different dad. So I'm
Doesn't
saying that
matter.
it's not the same thing. They don't have the disease.
Okay.
So it depends on the parents. So, okay, for me, I have the trait. So I have one normal cell, which would be like the A, normal blood, and the S for sickle cell. And then if you have another parent, another like whoever you're going to have kids with, if they have the trait, which is one A and one S, that can make sickle cell disease. But if they also have the disease, it's gonna automatically make sure that every kid's gonna have the sickle cell disease.
Oh snap. Okay, so that's
So
that's
it ups
interesting.
your chances. So if I had like let's just say basic genetics, if I have the trait and I was to marry somebody that does not have sickle cell trait or disease, then none of my children can have the disease, but several could have the trait.
Oh,
So
okay, okay,
each time that I go to have a child, if I since I have the trait, there's a 25% chance that they'll have the sickle cell trait,
okay.
a 25% chance that they will have let's see,
All right.
the trait, no trait. You know, see what I'm saying? It just depends on each on what you have.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense. I mean, that's a they
But
see
if
the
it's
same.
the trait and the trait, then you have to combine that. Then you've got 50% chance of disease, 25% chance of trait, and then 25% chance of no trait with 2 people that have the trait.
Yeah, and that's
Now, and it just goes up from there if you have the disease. So if you have the disease, you have 2 S's, or an S and a C, or an S and an E, or it's not ST for thalassemia, it's a SB. I don't know why it's the B, but it's this, I guess, B for beta, but it's a SB for sickle beta thalassemia. And so if you have that, you're combining 2 different forms. If you combine sickle in thalassemia, you also get sickle cell disease because thalassemia, like I said, is like another type of
right.
disease, and it's in the sickle cell family. They call them hemoglobinopathies. And in case you guys didn't know, if you go to the sickle cell doctor, you're also going to the cancer doctor. So the kids that go to see for sickle cell go to the cancer doctor. The St. Jude takes care of not only cancer kids but sickle cell kids. So if you go to their website right now, they're actually doing a sickle cell walk for sickle cell kids, and almost nobody knows that St. Jude's helps sickle cell kids. Almost nobody knows that the sickle cell kids go and the adults go to see the same doctors as the cancer patients. the cancer blood doctors. They have to have a lot of the same treatments. If they get sick, if they have a fever over 100.4, they have to go to the hospital. A cough or a sneeze from you is a hospitalization for them. It can mean a week to 2 weeks, 2 weeks in the hospital. It can mean ICU. It can mean they die. That part. They need blood transfusions when their where bloods get low. They have to watch for infections. If their bloods get low, they get blood transfusions, just like the cancer patients. When they have immense pain, now for the sickle cell, it's vaso-occlusive crisis, which they call the pain crisis, and they have to get IV pain meds like morphine or Dilaudid through the IV, whether it's a baby or it's an adult. For the babies, a lot of times they give them the button because the baby can't tell you when they're having the pain. They only know that they know how to press the button. So you
Man.
have a 2-year-old, you have a 4-year old with the morphine button, and they have to press it because they you can't the nurse can't come in often enough, and they have to set it with a timer so that they can only press it so much to get the medicine, but
Yeah.
the baby has to press it themselves, and the
Yeah.
parent cannot press for the baby. The baby has to press themselves.
That's craziness for so many reasons.
Oh,
Because
that's crazy, but you need it because
I
the
know,
pain
but
is so
I'm
bad.
just thinking about the habit. Like, okay, so you make it through. Like, you
It
press.
locks out. Everything is in there. It's dosed, it's timed, and it's locked. So let's just say it's like if you press the button and you thought you didn't think you pressed it, you double tap it, it won't let you double tap it.
No, I meant like
It's
from a
basically
habit
like
perspective. I wasn't talking about the actual
you
delivery. Cause
can't have it as a habit perspective because it's only in the hospital.
right, that's what I'm talking about. Like, how long are they on that treatment? Like, how long would they be on the?
When they need the pain, well, first of all, they don't. A lot of times they don't give the PCA so much, but if they do, like it's really bad.
Okay.
And then from the PCA, then they would go through they would still have the IV pain medicine, but when they don't need the PCA, then the nurse comes through and they push it through the IV. When they come off of that, then they work them down to a pill. When they work them down to a pill, then when they feel better and they can go home, then they go home on that pill if
Okay.
they need
Gotcha.
it when they go home.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's how severe it is. And you're back and forth between those pills. If you can't take that, they might have to try to take a Tylenol or something else. That probably doesn't work or do anything.
I can
So,
imagine.
like I said, to put that in perspective, a lot of things that what happened with the cancer kids happen with the same stuff as with the sickle cell kids. They have the same doctor. They have to worry about blood transfusions if they need that. They have to worry about infections. They have to worry about low energy.
Is
You know
public
what I'm
school an
saying?
option?
All these things. Yep, my kids go to public school.
Man, you brave as hell. Like, that seems like the germiest place in the world. Like,
Yeah, but that's where most people can't afford. So with sickle cell, you don't realize that. So it interrupts everything, and it interrupts your work. It interrupts your school. It interrupts the holidays. Interrupts birthdays. Sickle cell doesn't care what's
right?
going on. Sickle cell is going to rear its ugly head, and the person's going to be hurting from pain, from infection, from the sickle cell breaks people's bodies down from the inside. The banana shaped cells tear it down and do damage into the muscles and tissues inside of people's bodies.
It makes sense because it's going through the tubular structures. Is that right?
Well, yeah, so it damages organs and tissues. So, like, let's just say as a kid, you're growing up, maybe you wanted to play ball, basketball, football, baseball, and you're throwing, just measure, we'll just use the baseball because it's easier. We're throwing the ball, we're throwing the ball, we're throwing the ball. Well, guess what? After this, you might get damaged. And now you have loss of use of this because you wanted to play sports when you was a kid because you have sickle cell.
Yeah.
I know people
That's
that have issues like that because it's breaking down the muscle and the tissue. As you're using this normal, you just using it just like a normal person would, even for 20 minutes, depending on each person is different. It depends on what their body can handle and what their body is used to. If you're not used to doing as much physical activity and you go outside there, that could be enough to cause you a pain crisis just because you went out and played basketball outside and it's your favorite thing. And it was too hot or it was too cold or you didn't have enough water or you just strained yourself just a little bit too much. You played just a little bit too long, and now you got a crisis. You're in the hospital. Oh, you ate the wrong thing. You weren't supposed to have soda. You snuck a soda at the restaurant. You had Sprite. Now you're in the hospital with a brain crisis.
what?
Oh
What?
yes, 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 yes. Because you ate the wrong thing. Like they ate the white bread pizza instead of like the other pizza we
Yeah.
got. They ate the wrong kind of pizza or the wrong foods. And next thing you know, they're in the hospital. They triggered a pain crisis.
And like I also have Crohn's. So Crohn's is like, it's an autoimmune as well, and like if I eat paleo, purely paleo, no problems in the world. Everything in the world is good. I have a lot of energy. For the first 2 weeks, I'm thinking of nothing but food, but after that, everything's gravy. But it's always tempting to go back and eat a bunch of junk because immediately it's like because I do it every year. I'll do 1 or 2 times a year, do the paleo for 30 days, and 2 weeks of nothing but thinking about food, and then 2 weeks of just being like feeling really good. As soon as that 30 days is up, I'm going. I'll take some sugar and some dairy, and completely back to just problems. That's the
But see, what you need to do, is you just need to do the life switch up. You have to don't do it all at once. See, because if you try to do it all at once, that's where you fail at because you're like you need to have a little something, right? So maybe probably the last thing you should give up is either going to be you have to pick one. Either have to be sugar or cheese. Whatever is harder for you, give that up last.
sugar's just in everything. That's the hardest thing about sugar. It's not even that I eat a bunch of sugary things. It's in everything. It's in what was it? It was in the
Yeah, but why are you
spices.
eating? So again, you're eating. So look, you're eating packaged food. That's what your problem is. You're eating food in a
I agree
package.
entirely. I agree entirely. That's the
So I'm not saying we don't have any packaged foods, but like if you go look in my closet, I've got the glass jars of beans, I've got rice, I've got pasta, I've got spaghetti sauce. I probably got some broth in there, either chicken or beef or veg,
bone
stuff
broth.
like that, tomato paste and stuff like that. I don't really do much canned food.
Yeah.
Only thing I probably buy canned is like diced like canned tomatoes or something like that, and maybe beans. And you have to watch, make sure they don't add additives in there, stuff that you can do in there and quickly. But that's pretty much it. I don't Other than that, I don't really eat canned food.
You see, they've been doing to rice, where it's plastic pieces. Like,
That's really old. I just
yeah,
don't know which ones have it.
the
But we
only way
don't
to
eat
do it
regular.
is to
Yeah,
test it.
but
What
I
do you
eat
do?
brown rice.
Brown, me too. I do brown rice. Like, I like the taste of it. Like, even when I get my sushi, brown rice. My wife
If you
hates
can
it.
get the option.
Yeah, my wife
Yeah, but
hates it.
so what you need to what your thing would be is like you know what to do, you're just not doing it.
Yeah, no, that's
So,
exactly it.
so what I do, so look, in my book, I had to take it step by step. So the things, so when you go on your paleo thing,
Hmm.
that should be your lifestyle.
Yep.
And then when what you do is instead of like going back and cheating forever, you can go back and you have like a couple cheat days a month. Just whenever, like if you decide like, so okay, you're doing paleo, this is how you live now. Tomorrow we're having broccoli cheese, so you can have the broccoli cheese. There's nothing wrong with
Hmm.
that. You see what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean we're gonna have rotel dip the next day.
That's not the next day.
See
We're
what I'm
gonna have it
saying?
later
So
that
if we're
night.
doing so like for Thanksgiving, you might maybe you want like mac and cheese and rotel, you got that, but the rest of the stuff doesn't have to be that. And then like just be smart about it. Brown sugar, maple syrup, molasses, and that's got the nutrients in there. And then if you're using those natural sources, you may or may not, depending on how bad your stuff is, depending you may or may not have issues with that.
I mean, like literally, it's the word. Like, I've had doctors be like, "Yo, that's the worst case I have ever seen in my life. Like, that sucks." And it was like, "Yep, yep, multiple corrective surgeries," and it's like, nah.
No,
So,
you don't do that. You change. The surgery is what kills you and puts you on the way out.
yep,
You change the food is
I
what if you.
know.
The
Trust
problem
me, I
is
know.
what you put in makes a reaction, and this it
Hmm.
doesn't matter if it's Crohn's or it's sickle cell, but it's what you put in there because whatever you put in has to come out of there. I mean, I know that's not people want to really hear that, but that's just kind of how it works,
Yep,
you
that's
know.
how it
And
works. I think
so,
they know. I think
okay,
they
so
know.
let me say it like this: everyone can eat spicy food. If you
Hmm.
put that spicy food in, sometimes it tastes good coming in, but some people can't handle when it has to come out.
Yep, I've heard that. Yeah.
So think about it's like the same thing with the junk food. You cram the thing is the junk food often you don't really taste it so much. You cram it in, and there's so many things that they're added to the flavors to try to give you the mouth feel and the texture and the flavors. But we don't eat that stuff.
Food
Like
science.
honestly, but I don't. But we don't literally we don't eat any of that. We don't buy any of that. Like boxed macaroni and cheese. What is that?
I
Rice aroni?
I
No,
like the
we don't go.
blue
Say
box
no,
noodles.
we don't go. Ramen noodles. It's probably the buckwheat noodle. No, listen.
Okay.
We do ramen, but the ramen we do, I make my own ramen and it's buckwheat noodles. Do you
Buckwheat
understand what I'm
noodles?
saying?
I don't know about buckwheat
Buckwheat.
noodles. Like, I literally never
So
heard
if
of them.
you okay, so you find these things out when you go to the Asian section in your grocery store and you start digging around and you're like, we don't want the white bread, we don't want the white rice, we're not doing this, and then you look in like the little smaller ethnic sections, you
Yeah.
see what they have for the ethnic foods. You still have to flip those around and turn the bottom because some of those, even in the coconut milks, it'll be P65 warnings, state of California cancer.
Yeah.
It's
And
supposed to be coconut milk.
yeah, it's There's all types of
So
those.
again, you don't want really want the packaged foods. Some foods come in the package, but you want like the whole everything you should get should be a whole food, even if it's in a package.
That's essentially that's the diet for.
It's so it's really simple.
Mhm.
You eat whole grains, rice, pasta, whole grains, rice, pasta, and organic bread if you're doing bread. If you do bread, okay, and then you have to see what your flour is depending on that. The oils you want like the you have to
Avocado.
watch it's avocado,
Yeah.
coconut, and olive.
Yeah.
I still use butter, or there's a special brand I use of the vegan butter, and then I'll use sesame oil for the Asian food. But other than that, we don't use anything else. For
Nope.
sugar, it's brown sugar. It's 100% maple syrup. Molasses is good. We just really haven't been using it so much lately.
Same.
Honey, and then if I had to use a white sugar, it wouldn't be a true white sugar. It would be the sugar marina with the non bone char, because
I've
some sugar actually has animal bone char in its bones in the sugar.
interesting. I've never heard that. Like, but I would. I mean,
Taste
I'm.
the sugar, the azúcar. If you go to like wherever your grocery store is, or if you're a Walmart kind of person, they will have it like in the like you know how they have the flat sugar bags,
Yeah.
but it says sugar marina azúcar
Okay.
like in Spanish,
I
and
think
it's
yeah.
and it'll say on there it's got the non-GMO sticker and it'll say bone char free. And that's how you learn that some sugar has bone char in it, because when you see the bone char free sugar, well, why is this sugar bone char free? What does that even mean? You get to looking it up and you're like, oh,
Would you don't look everything up because like when you look stuff up,
I look up everything.
I
I look
know.
it up because I'm not eating that. I don't want propylene glycol. I don't want antifreeze in my food or in
Yeah.
my lotion. We don't use that. So that's what I say. Well,
Same.
I've done the whole thing, the whole flip over, because there's chemicals and stuff in there. But like really, you have to watch out with everything, with the food, with medical care. If you don't advocate with your food and
The
your
air
medical
you
care,
breathe.
your health is not going to be very good.
No. It's. I mean, medical care. Like that's what we always talk about. Me and my mom, like, 'cause she has heart issues. She's always, you know, she's got 15 stents, 14 stents. It's like she's got heart issues. She knows when it's gonna happen. She's like, she can predict it. She's pretty good. Like she's like, all right, I think I need to go to the hospital. And it, like 2 weeks ago, yeah, let's go. Which is nothing to play around with, obviously. But but with having that and knowing that she had health issues, like, have you ever heard of methylated, like, methylated vitamins instead of just, what is it? Is it B12 that when they synthesize it, it's cyanide. Like it's partially it's
Ooh.
that's a pretty big one because B12 is a great vitamin for you if you're deficient in a couple different ways.
Well, that's in potatoes. So if you leave like raw potatoes, if they're not, I want to say that's where the cyanide comes in with the raw potatoes.
Oh yeah,
I believe that comes from there. And then um, rye is what is it, the ricin or whatever that
yeah,
they kept putting that in those people's envelopes or whatever,
yep,
and you know what I mean. That like it sounds like what it comes from or whatever. Ricin is it's like a rice mold,
yep.
and some idiot cultivates it. It makes people sick with it. I guess that's how they do it. But I mean, anything can be cultivated. So but that's bread mold is actually really toxic too. People don't realize that, but bread mold can make you really
Yeah.
sick.
Bread in general here is not gonna be good for you.
It's not bread. It's like insulation.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, the only semi favorite brand. I'm not a brand ambassador, but we would love to. Dave's is my go to.
yep, same,
And now
same.
Ezekiel was pretty good, but Ezekiel's harder to find, and it's in the frozen section, and you can't if it's not frozen, you can't keep it.
Yep,
So
it's the same,
I
same
do
here.
I do Dave's. I'm talking about that's all we do is Dave's. We don't do
That
anything else. What
that
is there
raisin,
besides Dave's? Like
that
what is where
raisin,
you
that raisin is so good though. That raisin is so good.
it's
The
hard to get that too because everybody wants the raisin bread. Like all the brands, you go in the grocery store and it's frustrating. I look on the aisle and the aisle's completely full of food. I'm like, oh, they don't have anything to eat, and people just look and I'm like, you can't eat anything here. It's all trash. They're like, yeah, I know it's all trash. And that like I talked to my cousin in Buffalo, and she had like a post on Facebook because she was talking about her health, was something was going on with her health. So I called her up and I was like, well, cuz it's like, well, what have you been eating? She's like, well, the same stuff that we were eating when we were growing up. I was like, that's what the problem is. It's like because everything that we eat was changed.
yes, it has to.
I
It
I
has to.
had to stop eating that stuff like in fourth. Some of that stuff I had to stop eating in fourth grade. I got real sick and had to go to the hospital. like you'll get stopped up. Is what I'll say is you're not eating properly. I had to stop eating white bread back then, but I didn't completely cut it out. I just was eating like white bread, hamburger, hot dog buns. I started eating wheat bread because of that. And then I found out that there was a difference between wheat bread and what you call light bread. It's called wheat bread, but it's really not wheat bread. It's really light bread.
Yep.
So,
And that's where it's like,
um,
learning, and it takes time to learn all these things. Like it takes a life of experience, because like my mom was not educated on all this. Like she just went with the narrative, like whatever's on the commercial, that's what it is. Like, yeah, fucking, what was it, Hamburger Helper back in the day.
Sunbeam, or hamburger helper, Sunbeam, like all the different bread. Like I don't need like who I look and I'm like, who's eating white bread and white rice? Everywhere you go at the restaurants, it's white bread, white pasta, white rice. I'm like, who's eating this crap? Who
Hmm.
is eating this? I'm like,
The
this is
masses,
disgusting.
look
Who's eating
around.
this?
The masses. That's who's eating it, and you have to
If
want
you
the
eat a
change.
hamburger, maybe you're eating it. Maybe you eat the bun with the hamburger. But even then, I'm trying to like skip that. I'm trying to get like the tomato bun, like the lettuce burger. I did that like 10 years ago, and people thought I was a weirdo. They thought
Yep.
I was so weird. And now you do that, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I love my tomato bun."
Yep.
And it's like if when I did that before, they're like, "What's up with that?" But now it's you can ask for it, and people don't think you're weird anymore. It's so
Yep.
funny.
It's great. It's
It's
like,
funny.
that's me all day.
They're like, I just want meat and cheese only, and they're like, "Do you want that without the bun?"
Yes.
And they do ask you that. It's funny now.
No, I haven't got that
I'm
one.
like, I remember I asked that. It was like probably 5 or 6 years ago. I was like, yeah, can I just get? I was like, is there any way I could substitute the bun with like slices of tomato or lettuce? They're like lettuce. I was like, yeah, but I don't like the iceberg lettuce. Do you have the romaine? They're like, what's romaine? I was like, do you have the Caesar lettuce? Have
Right.
you ever done that? They know
The
they don't know what
the
the
dark
romaine is.
stuff.
I'm like, it's no, that's it's the dark stuff. That's not. They don't know what that is. They know what the Caesar lettuce is because the Caesar salad has the romaine lettuce.
Okay.
That's what I
Okay.
found
Okay.
out.
That's how
So
it is.
that's
Yeah.
you want the Caesar lettuce on your stuff. That's
There's
the only one that doesn't use the salad mix is Caesar.
That's facts. That's actually, now that I think about it, it's like, yeah.
Every restaurant, if you don't want that salad mix with the iceberg, which I don't eat iceberg, it's the only lettuce I don't eat.
Right.
It's disgusting.
Why?
I don't eat it
What's
because
the
it's
point?
disgusting. It's water content with iron. There's nothing in it.
Yeah. So
and
let's.
it has a smell. It has a smell, a certain smell and a taste, and I don't like it. I don't care if it's organic. I won't eat it.
I'm not a fan whatsoever.
No.
I don't know if Johnny told you. We typically, when we go out, what we like to do is we like to do either a acapella,
Oh,
a
he did tell me about that.
either
So let me plug my show because we got to talking about
we
like my
go.
grandma. We got to
Yeah.
talking about health. We were really supposed to talk about sickle cell, but we did, but we didn't get to. I didn't actually plug my event. So I am doing an event. It's called Show Up and Show Out for Sickle Cell. It's gonna be in Shreveport, Louisiana, next Saturday at 620 Texas Street, East Texas Street in Shreveport at Nard. Is a couple doors down from Abby Singers, right across the street, and also from Rhino Coffee. If you guys are in Shreveport, you know where that is off of East Texas Street. It's a variety show. We've got singers, we've got rappers, we've got Southern soul artists. We may even have a few comedians. I'm waiting to hear back this weekend. We've got a few last minute little spots for the artists. If anybody is going to be in the Shreveport area and you would like to be an artist, definitely reach out. We're going to have food. We're going to be showing up and showing out for sickle cell. We're going to be honoring some of our warriors, and it's going to be a great time. It's going to be the first annual Show Up and Show Out for Sickle Cell, and you can always hashtag that anytime that you want on social media. If you are going to show up and show out for somebody that has sickle cell trait and disease, definitely put that hashtag in there. We look forward to seeing all of that. And I have a song that I made, "Friend in the Rain," and I've been using that for my sickle cell event because I am that friend in the rain. They say they ride for you, but they sit back and watch you bleed. I'm riding for my people as I block all those NPCs.
Mm.
You know? And then I say, who'll be there when you need a friend? Will you be there in the rain? Will you share my pain? And that's why I think that it's a good song too with the sickle cell because there's a lot of pain involved with sickle cell. The pain crisis is a vaso-occlusive crisis, and what happens is the tissues are dying due to lack of oxygen. It gets blocked off like a stroke or a heart attack, and it's excruciatingly painful. And the cells and the tissues die, and then that's when they have to get those IV pain meds because it's that. And a lot of the sad thing is a lot of those people get turned around. Not the kids, but sometimes the teenagers and definitely the adults get turned home and sent home um, without proper pain management and treatment. They just tell them to suck it up. Like, oh, they don't need that. They think that they're they treat them like drug seeking individuals, and they're actually been trained to go to the hospital because a vaso-occlusive crisis or a pain crisis is a medical emergency.
Yes.
But often they get turned away, and my son even has been turned away. My son went to the hospital via ambulance from his school, 4 flights up at Louisiana Tech, and they brought him in with the ambulance. And guess what? He was discharged 4 hours later, where he had to call a ride from a friend because I wasn't up yet to go back to the school to then climb 4 flights of stairs and call me and tell me he was in pain with the sickle cell crisis. I had to bring him to a hospital out here. And they kept him for some hours. And then they called me at 2:30 in the morning and they said because he didn't have any other comorbidities besides the pain crisis, that they were discharging him home at 2:30 in the morning.
That's not stable.
I had
I thought it was you had to
to
they had to be
that
stable
I
to
woke up out my bed at 2:30 in the morning to come get somebody that had to get brought back 24 hours later because he needed a blood transfusion and he had other problems too. But because he didn't show that he needed a blood transfusion then or whatever, there's not supposed to be any other secondary conditions required for pain management to be kept. But they act like that's conditional. So that's why we show up for sickle cell, and that's why we fight for that cause. I'm definitely going to take that to the Louisiana State Legislature, and then I would love to bring that to the Supreme Court because they need to have things in place for that. They make it a law where you cannot discriminate against anybody with sickle cell trait or disease for employment, and you're not supposed to be able to be fired or unhired for that. It does happen, but that actually is a federal law, and I would like to see people being kept of a minimum of 48 hours for sickle cell pain crisis, unless they specify that they no longer need the pain medication. They feel fine and safe to go home. They should not be forced or coerced to do such. But most people within 48 hours, if there are other symptoms, they will come about with pain, infection, needing oxygen, blood transfusions. A lot of times that can come about within 48 hours.
that's
48 to 72 hours. So, and they're not being kept even overnight sometimes for the pain crisis. And it's just ridiculous. A lot of times they have to wait in the waiting rooms. I've had my son wait for 6 hours just to get one triage, and 6 hours later, he's needing fluids, he's needing pain medicine. I don't know if he needed the blood transfusion on that part. I think he also needed oxygen. And we had to leave one hospital after 6 hours. They never checked in, they never triaged, they never had anything else. We had to go to another hospital. We were seen in under an hour, and he was so dehydrated from lack of care at the other hospital. He had to get 2 boluses, like 2 bags of the IV fluids, just to be able to get his lab work because they couldn't get anything out of him.
wow. See, that's a
So that
travesty of
and
the medical
that's
system.
bad. It's bad. And like just imagine, okay, so I also had a teenage son when the house that I'm in, when we first bought the house in 2021, we got a HelloFresh kit. And remember when they had that onion recall where everybody was getting the salmonella poisoning?
Hmm.
My son helped me prepare the hamburgers with the onions, and those onions were sourced from the salmonella source, and he caught salmonella in his bones. He got a bone infection from the
Phew.
salmonella. And so we went to the hospital and we brought my grandmother. Okay, so this is 2021, so they still had some of the COVID stuff going on. Because of that, I had a 1 year old baby that was exclusively breastfeeding. So I couldn't start the baby, but I had to bring the other kid in with the sickle cell. So I called to make sure it was okay to bring my grandma because once I talked to the doctors and got it admitted, she was going to have to stay with him so I could go home and feed the baby. So we get in there. We got approval from the doctor. We called in advance, mind you. We get in there, we're waiting, this and that. This lady comes in and she screams in my grandma's face, telling her that she was going to catch COVID if she was in there and that she wasn't allowed to be in there. It was like 100 or 105 degrees outside. The lady was, I don't remember, she was in her 80s, maybe 84 or something like that. But it was in 2021. See what I'm saying?
That
84, 85 years old she was. And they wanted her to be out. She wasn't allowed to stay in the building because they was worried she was going to catch COVID. But they didn't care anything about the little sickle cell kid
right. What the fuck?
that but my son's arm was like his elbow was like 3 times the size of his normal arm, and it was obvious that he was swollen that bad. He needed surgery. It was an emergency, and we left that hospital and we had to go beg for care at the place he was supposed to get admitted because that was a they were gonna have to bring him in and do all that and then transfer him via ambulance to the actual hospital he would have to be at because they don't have a child ski R at that hospital.
That
So
is the perfect example of how a simple right, like what you would figure would already be with the ADA, because I assume that that's what that still falls under, because it is a form of discrimination, and I think that
Hmm.
there's grounds there, like, but
They discriminate because I hate to tell you, it's because my kid is the black kid.
of course, I mean, every
My grandma was my like, check this out. My grandma was there. She was the old white lady, right? My son's named after my grandma, so that was her namesake. The child that she was in there with is literally named after her, and they're telling her she can't be in there with the child that she's named at that who's named after her. Are you kidding me? Because they didn't care about the little sickle cell kid who needed the emergency surgery. That all they care about was the old white lady. That, oh, she might catch COVID.
yeah,
He needs surgery. It's emergency. Like, you can see his arm. It's something is wrong here.
they was making up whatever they could at the time. Like there's it's not only common, like almost it's almost expected because like I know that if my wife, she's a Southern Belle and she's just like she goes in there and they'll hit her with Dilaudid because she's got a headache. I'm like, what the? I go in there and I have all types of ailments and issues, and I go in and it's like, I think that's drug seeking behavior. What? Like, I'm I'm dying here and you can't get anything. They're like, here, how about some Tylenol? What the fuck? And she can get every time she goes in, they hit her immediately. My mom, same thing. Blam. It's like, man, I got a very arrestable face, so I can relate.
That's crazy.
But so not to take it up because I know we got this one. It'll make for good edits, lots of shorts. You got anybody want to shout out before we hit a? You got a performance on us?
Yes, I do. We'll definitely shout out Dr. Giroudi. He's been our sickle cell doctor since we've been out here in Shreveport, so we definitely got mad love for you. Um, Rest in power. Shouts out to my grandma. She loved those boys more than anything, and she was there helping us. She was a warrior helping us. She used to go when I had to work, and I couldn't go with my son's blood transfusion protocol. My son was on blood transfusions for 10 years because he had a stroke when he was 4. And when I went back to work, my grandmother was the one to stay with him every month. He had to go and do the overnight, so she would go with him while I was at work. So shouts out to grandma. Rest in power, because I know you're watching over us. Shouts out to all my sickle cell warriors. If you got the disease, shouts out to you. If you have the trait and you've been having issues, and people tell you there's nothing wrong with you and you think you're crazy, you're not crazy. You do actually have those health issues. Keep fighting. We're going to put together a team of people that have the trait, and I want to have everybody report their symptoms and then just see the different symptoms and different issues that some of us that have the trait are actually having, instead of just being brushed away because we don't have the severe pain crisis. Most of us don't have the severe pain crisis that people have with the disease have, but I have heard of some reports with people that have the trait having some pain crisis and things of that nature. So we want to help out with that. Shout out to all those people. Shout out to my family, everybody that's supporting us, out here with this, everybody that comes up to the 10, the show up and show up for sickle cell, anybody that's helping us with that and help to make that possible. Definitely shout out to that. Everybody that's on my team, my family, I love them. I'm from New York, so shouts out to Buffalo, and also shouts out to Shreveport Bossier because I'm out here in the SBC, and we getting things done out here in Louisiana, and there's a lot of more big things to come. So
Bomb. You got that 30 second, 60 second, 90 second down.
I
There's so
definitely
much to
do.
say.
I definitely do. So you need someone to be there for you in your time of need. But when the time comes, no one will support your needs. They say they ride for you, but they sit back and watch you bleed. I'm riding for my people. Who'll be there in the rain when you need a hand? Who's there to share your pain when you need a friend? Who'll be there in the rain when you need a hand? Who's there to share your pain when you need a friend? Oh, well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's
yeah.
that's my song. It's called "Friend in the Rain" with Broken Sword. It's on the Soul Alchemy album. You guys should definitely check it out. It's available on all platforms. It's on the album, and it's also available as a single on there. Definitely the "Friend in the Rain." I definitely write for my peoples, and we definitely block all the NPCs. So
Bomb. That's a great performance and a great way to end it. That was the best 10 second outro ever. Yo, shooting the shits. We got Heather, Miss Banks, the one, the only. Until the next one. Peace, y'all. Yo, hold up for 1 second. Let me cut the live here. Yeah, that was a great show. Like you have like, and that's what I said. Like you have the ability to articulate like your thoughts and ideas so well, and like when you realize you're like, yo, we didn't mention the event. Bam. Within what 2 minutes it was he was in there.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to mention the event. It's going to be next Saturday. Like I said, anybody that can come out, we really appreciate that. I'm selling tickets online for $50, and then anybody that's performing, obviously they're not having to pay. But if you know anybody that's available to come, send them out here to
I
Shreveport.
was just about to say, Shreveport is. I don't even know how many hours that is. I'm actually trying to figure that out because that's I'd go out to that show for sure, for sure. Because I like supporting the local music. Is it mostly Shreveport?
We do have there is a lot of Shreveport people, but we are going to have some people out of town. If I could have got more people from out of town, but the out of towners needed a little help with like stay and stuff like that, and I really couldn't afford to pay for that. I actually had somebody that was local. I asked to come do it, and she said she would do it, but she wanted me to pay. She's like, "Well, you can pay me a little something."